All right, here we go again. We are live doing another draft. So for those who haven't watched my other drafts, I've been live streaming a lot of drafts this season, and we're going to continue today. It's another NFBC Online Championship. It's a 12-team NFBC league. This is the Beat Justin Mason League, so I anticipate getting sniped quite a bit. It's starting up here in about 3 minutes. I have the 8 pick. This is a 5x5 rotisserie league. For those who don't know the NFBC Championship, 12-team league. I'll leave the draft board running the entire time. I will scroll down as we start getting deeper in. But yeah, so put the one piece on. Not gonna happen. At least not for this. I need to be a little bit more comfortable than wearing that one piece bathing suit, but I'm interested to see who I'm going to get at 8. Let's see. Been loving the live streams. Any more left in the can? No, I got one more left in the can. It will be the NFBC main event. It'll be on Wednesday. I believe it starts at 7 p.m. Pacific, so that's 10 p.m. Eastern. So late night. If you are going to be up late on Wednesday, come and check it out. How many teams do I have? I believe the total is 26 or 27. Too many teams. Very, very true. My wife is saying too many teams. It is a lot of teams. It is the most amount of baseball teams I have ever done. So we shall see how that works out. But I feel I've been telling people I feel more locked in than I ever have in my entire life in terms of fantasy baseball. I've been grinding away all off season, and the season is almost upon us. So we got about a minute and a half. I'll be checking the chat here and there and kind of answering questions. I can't get like in-depth questions where I really have to think about it, because obviously I've got to focus on the draft. There's some really, really good competitors in this league, including Colin Weatherwax, whose league was the one I did yesterday. If you're looking for any of my old, is it cheating if I'm watching in this and have the 9th pick? I assume at least half of the league is going to be watching this. So no, you're not cheating. I'm not going to give away who I'm picking until I actually make the pick. But so no, I assume most people are going to be watching this. But yeah, so if you're interested in watching some of the drafts I've already done, you can go over to my YouTube. They're all over there. I think like Justin Mason Fantasy is it, or just type in Justin Mason in Fantasy or Justin Mason Baseball. Should be able to find. Hit that subscribe button. This is also a live stream on Twitch and on Facebook and Twitter. So depending on where you're watching, and YouTube obviously as well. So depending on where you're watching, if you want to go to a different place to watch it, feel free. Subscribe to all those places. Helps me out. So we got 15 seconds. I'm assuming the top 8 will go in the typical top 8 order, and that my decision at 8 will be left for me. As my wife's saying, are you saying you can't do one more thing? Ooh, okay. So apparently I have not put my draft room on mute. I'm going to do that right now because that would be annoying otherwise. All right, so we are going. I'm afraid to Google Justin Mason Fantasy. You should be afraid to Google that. That being said, that's where it's found, I believe. So my Twitch is Justin Mason FWFB. My Twitter is Justin Mason FWFB. Jacob DeGrom going first off the board. Not super surprising. So, Bats goes second. Again, not super surprising as well. All right, and then Garrett Cole. All right, so top 2 pitchers off the board, which means I'm unlikely to take a pitcher in the first round, which is totally fine with me. I'm really okay with any of the options at number 8. This is why I like drafting kind of at the 8th spot, is because I feel like I'm still going to get one of the elite players. I don't really care which one I get. In the mains, I'm a little bit more likely to pop on a pitcher early than I am here in a 12-teamer, just because I know at pick, whatever, I think 17 in the second round, there's going to be more pitchers available. How'd the draft end up with Paul, by the way? Only saw through round 6. I crushed that draft. I really, really like my team. I do not like Paul's team. But that's okay. He likes his team. All right, so now Soto and Cunha off the board. So now we're looking at Tatis, Trout, and Turner are likely the ones I'll be kind of debating. There goes Tatis. So it's going to be Trout or Turner, which will be my pick. So, which, like I said, I'm totally fine with. And if you're going to give me Trey Turner at pick 8, I'm going to take it every time. I love Trey Turner. I almost took Trey Turner at 5 in my main event. So getting here at 8, knowing I'm going to get another great pick on the way back around. Yeah, that's totally cool with me. So Yelich goes 9. All right, I don't have a problem with that. Yeah, this is why I like drafting at 8, because I've landed on Turner at 8 a bunch of times, and I'm totally fine with that. Get that speed early. It's one of the things I like to do. I haven't been able to do it in every draft, but I definitely like doing it here. Last night I was at 7, and I ended up with Trout. Was totally fine with that. Got Freeman in the second round. All right, there goes Jose Ramirez. Yeah, getting Freeman in the second round last night was like an absolute godsend. I was so surprised he was there. I doubt he'll be there in this draft, but we'll see. Now the question is, did Colin show up for the draft? He said he was golfing this morning. He didn't know if he was going to be back in time. He took Shane Bieber. So third pitcher off the board. Pitching not flying quite well. Pitching these 12s don't fly always quite as fast. I don't usually like the back end of a draft, but in a 12 team, that's a little different because that Story Harper start is pretty awesome. So now back to Colin. Lots of options for me here. I can take a starting pitcher with my next pick. I could go hitter. I don't, it kind of just depends on who makes it to me. There goes Freddie Freeman. So no Freddie Freeman in the second round for me, but Freddie Freeman in the second round for Colin. So he started off Bieber Freeman, which I like. I'm not a big Bieber guy, but he's still my number 3 pitcher. I know a lot of people have moved Lucas Giolito up to 3. I've got Lucas Giolito at 4, but we'll see. We'll see what makes it to me. There's definitely 2 guys I like kind of above the rest of the field here. So we'll see which, if one of those make it to me. If one of them don't, then I'm going to have kind of a, there goes Mondesi. And Mondesi was not one of the guys I was talking about. So I'm going to get one of the 2 guys I really want here. One's a pitcher, one's a hitter. Fine with either. And there we go. So Darvish goes, I'm going to take Lucas Giolito right here and start off Turner Giolito, and I've got to make sure I'm updating my board here. So it went Freeman, then it went Mondesi, and then it went Darvish and Giolito. So I like that start. Not going to lie. Turner Giolito. 2 guys who have been going around the 8th pick in mains. To start off with them in the 1-2, that's just fantastic. So, and it leaves me with a lot of options in the 3rd round. So it's thanks, Draft Cheat. I do like that start. That is that's a pretty sick start. It's probably my favorite 12-team start so far this year. And of course, I did not open up a new. Oh, you got a guy running low on clock. All right, there goes Lindor. He was the guy I was definitely thinking about, but I don't necessarily love starting shortstop. I'm not opposed to it, but so we'll see who kind of. Okay, so Lindor and then Nola. And he goes Machado. I figured Machado wouldn't make it back to me. So Nola, Machado, and there goes Bellinger. Okay, so Why am I not seeing Bellinger? Oh, because I got him on center outfield. That's why. So I'm also, I do draft software while I'm drafting. I use Rotolab. This year I've used RotoWire in the past, but this year I tried out the Rotolab. Really liking it, like both. Hey, Rupert, thank you for watching. I appreciate everybody tuning into these. People really seem to like them. I'm going to keep doing this year after year. I do like doing these live streams. There goes Seeker. All right. I do love doing these live streams. They're fun. And they give me something to do and kind of talk things out. So I think they are somewhat helpful to me. Sometimes they can be a little distracting, but especially when I'm by myself doing it, it's not as distracting as it is with like 2 or 3 people in the live stream with me. All right. Then we got Trevor Bauer just went off the board. My wife jokingly tweeted out that I would be taking him. Not interested in Trevor Bauer today or ever, really. I just don't trust him at all. Just too much of a tinkerer. If he has another dominant season, then maybe I'll be back in on him next year. But for this year alone, I'm just kind of out on it. What are my thoughts on Olsen this year? I like Olsen, but there's a lot of first basemen who are just a tad bit safer. There goes Bogarts. He could have been an option, even though I already have a shortstop. There goes Luis Robert, who is not likely to be an option for me. All right. So kind of waiting and seeing who's getting back to me here. I'm going to put a few people in my queue just to kind of have some options here. Because we're about 6 people in front of me. I got 3 people in my queue right now. Just kind of seeing how I want to kind of set this team up in terms of how I want to attack. And there goes the guy that was at the top of my queue in Kyle Tucker. Been getting a lot of Kyle Tucker this year. So here's the thing. Like, you guys can throw player names out there, and I'll definitely look at them, but I'm not going to talk about them because, like I said, there are a bunch of people watching. So, unless it's like someone clearly I'm not going to be considering here or in the near future, then like obviously I'll talk about them. I can talk about them. For the most part, like, I assume if you're playing a $350 league like this, the player pool. You should, right? So I'm not like one of those people that's like, oh, never talk about a player. Like, that's silly. Like, I'm sorry if if you think that people playing high dollar money leagues like are not attuned to the player pool, then you're not attuned to what the competition level is like in these drafts. So Ozzy Albies goes off the board. He wasn't someone I was necessarily considering. I got 2 guys in my queue right now. Kind of debating where I'm gonna go here. There goes Brandon Woodruff, who is in my queue. So, and there goes Bo Bichette, who is not in my queue. So now I got 1 guy in my queue. So, and there goes Kershaw, who is not in my queue either. I think this guy who I've got queued up is likely to be the pick. So, 1, because I really like him, and 2, because I haven't gotten a lot of shares of, and I've used this draft. Well, I used yesterday's draft, and then I'll use this draft again. And okay, I need to add Kershaw to my software. I'm using these as drafts. Oh, there goes Luis Castillo. Okay, so we got a huge pitcher run going. I've already got Giolito. But I'm actually I'm going to kind of – it's not technically pocket aces because I didn't take him the first 2 rounds, but I'm going to take Max Scherzer here. And I'm going to start off with a rotation of Scherzer and Giolito and be pretty stoked on that. Because now I don't have to worry about pitching for a little while. And there's so many good hitters still available. Blake Snell goes. Love me some Blake Snell. I'm kind of started moving him up my board little by little here. So I'm so I like this starting off here with Trey Turner, getting that speed early, getting batting average early, and then stud pitcher in the 2-3, gives me a lot of leeway to kind of move in a lot of different directions, kind of moving for it. So we'll see who makes it back around to me kind of next round. Having a little bit of a pitcher run here. I'm wondering if it's going to continue, especially because two guys kind of on this wraparound, the 10 spot and the 12 spot, did not take a starting pitcher in the first two rounds. So I'm assuming they will. Oh, this guy's going to time out. Walker Buehler. Okay. Which I don't know if he meant that or if he timed out, but it looks like there might be two guys who didn't show up to the draft, which is going to be interesting because they don't have green lights in the draft room, which means they're not in the draft room. So, though one of them's got a green light now, or both have green light in the next round. So maybe they are. I don't know. We'll see. So there goes Buehler. There goes Flaherty. This is what I was afraid of. If I waited another round, I definitely wasn't going to get a guy like Scherzer, who I love this year. So, and DraftCheat says we're podding about this draft tomorrow. Yeah, we are. I'm looking forward to podding with DraftCheat. It's been a long time coming. So there goes LeMahieu. So, which I don't mind at all. All right. So I got two guys in my queue right now, both of which I would be stoked to get here in the fourth round. We'll see if either of them makes it to me. You never know about these, while these are big money leagues, like you definitely do have times that people who like don't come in prepared. They don't, they don't do the proper work understanding the format. We had a guy yesterday take a bunch of stashes, which you can't really do in an NFBC league because there's no IL. These are big money leagues, so I take them very seriously. I take all my leagues very seriously, but especially the big money leagues, because there's money on the line. I think the winner of this wins. Can't remember how much, but it's a lot. So I want to win. Very interested to see who's going to make it around to me with this next pick. Anthony Rendon. Okay, so Rendon was a guy that had Scherzer gone last round I would have taken. So I love that pick right there, and I was really hoping he was going to make it to me. But c'est la vie, he does not. So right now I've got two picks until my pick. I've got someone queued up. I'm hoping he makes it to me. If he doesn't, then I'm going to have to start really there goes Aaron Judge, who's not the guy. Then I'm going to have to really start scrambling because I only have one guy queued up. I guess I could put that guy as my backup in case he goes right here. 1,700, Billy. Is that what first place is for this league? Or I don't think it's that high. I think it's like 1,000 or something. But I honestly cannot remember off the top of my head. Yeah, I'm not going to be doing Glass now here. That's for sure not going to happen. I mean, I've already got two starters. Glass now is not even the best starter available according to my ranks. So yeah, that wouldn't happen. All right, so this is the guy right here who timed out last time. So we'll see if he made his pick before the timeout. So it means he's good. Okay, so I'm gonna take Randy Arozarena. It's my boy. I want to just make sure my draft software is updated. He's the highest player left on my board at this point. Got power, got speed. So I love that first outfielder, Randy Arozarena. 1,700 first place. I'm going to double check that real quick, but that would be interesting. I'm not gonna throw away $1,700. But I'm just double checking. Let's see, rules, prizes. It's $1,400. $1,400 for first, $700 for second in this league. So, not the someone has never won an OC. I last year I think was my first year doing an OC. And I did not win that league. I was in the running, but I did not win. So this is only my third year in NFBC. So it is you need to start winning some more of these. All right, there goes Whit Merrifield. He was the kind of the backup guy. I don't have much Merrifield this year, so I actually thought about it, but I just love Randy Arozarena too much to pass him up. Starling Marte, he gone. So, especially with, him hitting well yesterday. There goes Corbin Burns. Burns is a guy I got a lot of shares of early. I have not been able to get shares of recently because his price has just gone up so dramatically. So, which is fine. I love this start already. Starting off Turner, Giolito, Scherzer, or Arozarena. Yeah, I'll take that all day long. So, kind of looking and seeing who might be available there for me in the next round. There goes JT Realmuto. I just never end up with Realmuto. I think I've got one share of him. I think the guy who took Buehler is the one who timed out. There was two guys who timed out, but I think they both made their last pick. So it seems like everybody's in the draft room at this point. So hopefully that is there we go. We got Alex Bregman off the board. Definitely not who I was considering. I'm not in on Bregman this year. I had a guy in my list right now. I don't know if he'll make it back to me, but he's a guy that I haven't gotten a lot of shares of, but I'm hearing really good things about him this spring. And so I'm thinking maybe I'll take the shot on a guy that doesn't typically end up on one of my teams. All right, so then that was Arenado. He was on my list. Kind of surprised he fell this far. Some people just fading the move to St. Louis. I know it's a really crappy park factor change, but not super worried about Arenado. Another guy I have a lot of early shares of, but I haven't gotten a lot late. Have you ever played in the Yahoo Public prize leagues? I've never played in those. I do not particularly like Yahoo. I hate their positional eligibility requirements. I don't really like the format, so I have not. Some people love them, though. I don't think they're quite as competitive, at least my understanding is they're not quite as competitive as these kind of leagues, but it's not surprising that people like them because I think Yahoo is still the most popular place to play on. All right, so I kind of got my next two rounds queued up, but I also have to kind of think about backups because I still have 7 people picking before I get there. And so pretty sure the guy at the top of my queue is not going to be there when it gets back to me. So kind of adding some backup players right now. So kind of seeing who might be a good pick at the next spot. So all right, so I've got 4 guys kind of pegged for this this round as guys that I wouldn't mind getting. Okay, one of them goes is in Ozuna. And then I should have known Billy was going to take Ozuna. Billy and I shared a main event team last year. Other one in Liam Hendricks goes. So we shared a main event team last year, and there goes Josh Hader. Okay. And I wonder how quickly Chapman goes now. So there goes Chapman. So quick elite closer run right there, which is fine. Not the guys who are at the top of my list. Vlad Guerrero now goes. So now I'm going to get one of the top two guys who is on my list. That's totally fine that I missed out on one of kind of the elite closers because I got Chapman and I've got lots of shares of Hader and Hendricks and Chapman. So I'm okay playing in kind of the next tier or even after that. So I've got my next my two guys that I want here queued up, and feel pretty good about either of them. One is still the guy I was talking about who was the guy that I haven't gotten a lot of shares of, but he is a good player and he's doing something this spring that Jason talked about on the podcast. And there he goes, Tim Anderson. Tim Anderson was the guy that I was talking about. Even though I've got a shortstop already, I was definitely thinking about popping on Anderson. So that's a little bit of a bummer. So now I can decide between the guy who was my backup or the guy that I was thinking about. You know what? I'm going to take the guy I really want that I don't have a lot of shares of that I'm really kind of excited about. He's been getting moved up boards, and so I'm a little afraid he won't make it back around to me, and that's Eugenio Suarez. So Suarez is just a guy I really, really like, and I have gotten busy talking to you guys, and I have not updated my board. So let me do that. It was Hader, then Chapman, then Guerrero, Tim Anderson, and now Suarez. All right. So there we go. I'm liking this start so far. No! the beauty of yeah, I'll definitely keep an eye on the batting average. The beauty of having some of you guys in this league that are watching and commenting is that I get to see your reaction a little bit when I snipe you. So that's pretty funny. All right, there goes Edwin Diaz. So I'm just gonna kind of look up something real quick. All right. Da-da. So let's see who Colin takes here. Any concerns with the role this year? Not really. I know he was really bad in that last spring outing, but spring, I don't really care that much. As long as velocity's fine, he's healthy. There goes Jordan. Not a guy I was looking at picking. That's really early for Jordan. I'm kind of surprised. I mean, I guess not. There goes Lance Lynn. So Lance Lynn was the guy that I was thinking about instead of Alvarez. But totally fine missing out there. So the question is, who am I now going to take now that he's gone? Dun, 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 dun. So I got two guys in my queue. There goes Alonso and Austin Meadows. Yeah, and that's what I love about Lance Lynn is like he threw the most innings out of any major league pitcher last year, so you know you're going to get a lot of innings from him. They should be pretty damn good innings. Okay, so Iglesias goes and Ryu goes. And now it's back to me. So one of the things I don't want to miss out on is saves. So I'm going to take Trevor Rosenthal here. He's my number 4 closer, still on the board. A lot of other closers are going right now. And this is why I like being in the middle of the draft, because I feel like I'm less likely, and I guess 8 isn't technically necessarily the middle in this league because it's 12 team, but I like being at 6, 7, 8, 9 this year because I feel like I got better control of the draft. I don't miss out on quite as many runs. So it goes Biggio and Kettle Marte. So so far, liking the team through 6 picks. You should like your team through 6 picks. I mean, that's kind of a given, right? That you like your team through 6 picks. If you don't, you have not done a good job early on in your draft. So Max Fried goes. So I got 2 guys in my queue right now. I don't know if either are going to make it back to me. So I'm going to try to start adding some other guys, maybe some guys I haven't gotten as many shares of early on in draft season. I keep saying early on in draft season like it's not like the end of draft season right now. So, but be interested to see kind of where some of these guys are going to go here. Brian Vogel in this league. Brian Vogel, a really good player. Yeah, there goes Conforto. Karinchak. I'm not sure Karinchak is the closer. One of the reasons why I like getting one of those top 6, 7 closers is feeling really confident. Hey, Mike, how you doing? Good to see you, buddy. Is Bruce the Yankees' first base? Now, I think he probably is, at least for the next month or 2. So, Voit went really, really high in the OC yesterday, but it went to this guy who like I said, grabbed a lot of stashes. Barrios, he was in my queue. I love Barrios this year. Another one of those guys that's kind of just a horse, and spin rate's been up this year. This could be the year where he finally takes that next step. So I got 4 guys in my queue, and I'm pretty sure one of them's going to make it back to me. I don't know which one. Maybe all 4 make it. I doubt it, though. Seems like a fairly sharp room. Talkman heard today. Oh, great. I don't have Talkman anywhere except for maybe in some draft and holds. And there goes Ryan Presley, another one of those kind of locked-in saves guys. So those guys are starting to come off the board. I feel pretty good with Rosenthal, who I have a lot of shares of this year. Interested to see where or who's going to make it back to me. I still got my top 4 guys in the queue. If you guys hear any news as things are going, feel free to throw that in the chat, because I do appreciate that. I can only pay attention to so much while things go. There goes George Springer. So Springer is interesting because it seems like he's not going to be ready for opening day, but should be ready shortly after that. They're still calling him day to day. I think he's a really good value if he's healthy at 73, but I'm just staying away from that. Karinchak over Presley is risky. I agree. I don't think Karinchak is the guy. At least I don't know that he's the guy. Enrique Hernandez leading off in Boston. Interesting. That could be could be a factor of, okay, so there was the guy at the top of my queue, Billy again, who's a really good player, taking him from me. Boston's been hit by COVID, so it's have I ever been to a Toronto game? No. I would love to go, though. I would absolutely love to go. I have not been to a lot of other stadiums, only a few of them, and something me and my wife definitely want to try to do. There goes Ian Anderson. There's one guy I really want right now, and if he makes it to me, I'm going to be stoked. I don't know that he's going to, though. Where's Anderson on my list? There he is. All right. Okay. Did I see the Dobnak extension is moved to the bullpen? I did, and there goes another guy on my list, not the top guy on my list in Castellanos, but see, Vogel's the one who's going to snipe me right here. See, what is Vogel? Oh, man, maybe not. I don't know what Vogel's going to do here. He's got a really balanced team. I like it. Again, it's like Vogel's a really smart player that I've played with a fair amount, so he could probably go a lot of different directions here. I did see the Dobnak extension. I think Dobnak's kind of a sneaky play this year, especially in 15-team leagues. So there goes the aforementioned Matt Olson. As long as that batting average doesn't kill you, Olson's going to hit for power. That's for sure. So now we're 2 picks away. I got 2 people in my queue. One, I'd absolutely just be so stoked if he made it to me. The other one, I might be able to get in the next round. Let me see. I might be able to get in the next round. I don't know if I will be. So I'm interested to see who drops right here. And then there's a guy I'm kind of toying with. There goes Kenley. Okay. So Kenley wasn't the dude. So now I'm going to get one of my top 2 guys. But I'm kind of interested to see what this guy has been doing. Because I've got pitchers on there, not hitters. Dun, 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 dun. Sorry, guys. I'm just looking somebody up real quick. I'm kind of seeing. Interesting. Okay, I'm going to put him as my backup and try to get the other guy on the way back. Oh, well, it doesn't matter because Teoscar goes off the board. Not really interested in Teoscar at his price. So Kyle Hendricks, come on down. 3rd starting pitcher, Kyle Hendricks. Pretty stoked on that one. How many days a week does Kirk play, though? Kirk made the roster. Okay. He'll play some at catcher, some at DH. They move him around. That's interesting that he made the roster. Appreciate that info. So I've got Kirk on a few teams, but I'm not as high on him as some people are in the industry because, I mean, I'm assuming Reese McGuire is still going to – and there goes Glaber. Glaber was the guy I was kind of actually toying with right there. I don't have many shares of Glaber. He's having a pretty sweet spring, and I think he's a pretty good bounce-back candidate right there. My first draft in home last night, I spec'd on Andahar. Interesting, okay. Andahar is brutal in the field. I don't know if they want him playing at first, but I don't know that. I mean, I guess Jay Bruce is fine. I really don't know what they're going to do. Nelson Cruz. So there was the other guy. That's a bummer because I was hoping Nelson Cruz would make it back around to me. But that's okay. So there goes Lourdes Gurriel. Dun, dun. So now I got to figure out where I'm going to go from here. My pitching is really, really good. So I always like that. Nice having a base. So, but my offense needs a little bit of help here. So there goes McCullers. Dun, dun. All right. There goes Gene Martinez, who I was thinking about. He's having kind of a brutal spring too, but I know he hates spring training, so not super worried about that. There goes Steven Strasburg. All right. I just do not trust Strasburg. Franmil's a good option when Cruz gets taken. Yeah, I like Franmil a lot. I mean, he's not coming up for at least a few more rounds, but definitely a guy that I'm not opposed to. I don't have many Franmil shares because I've gotten so many JD Martinez and Nelson Cruz shares. So we'll see. That could be an option later on. Right now, I'm kind of looking at a few different options. There's a guy that's still available that I have not gotten any shares of this year. I'm going to put him in the queue because I don't have anybody in my queue right now. So I'm kind of toying with the idea of that. There goes Goldschmidt. There's Goldschmidt. I think I'm going to take this guy that I've not gotten any shares of, and then I've got a backup in case he goes right here. But unless Hammock right here snipes me. He did not. He took Dansby Swanson, which everybody knows. I'm just not going to end up with Dansby Swanson. All right, so I'm going to take Yoan Moncada. I don't have actually, wait, I already have third baseman, so do I want to do that? Suarez can move to short here in a little bit. All right. I'm going to take Yoan Moncada, one, because I mentioned him, and now he won't make it back around to me. Too many people are watching. And two, I don't have many shares of. I don't mind filling up my CI spot early. That's okay. A lot of other guys at their positions, especially in a 12-team league, not as worried about that. Now the video back, do you see JD getting close to his old self? I do. I don't know that he's going to be like the elite player that he was a few years ago, but I think he's going to be just fine, and I think he's going to return value on where he's been going in drafts. So yeah, I do like Martinez. All right, so we added Moncada there. So now we start planning for the next round and kind of what we want to potentially go with there. There goes Plesac. Plesac's a guy that, like, I'm not super on or anything, but I do think he is going to return value considering where he's going, just because he's a horse. Like, they just let him go. Kiki Hernandez is leadoff this year announced. Interesting. Yeah, that's super, super interesting. Thank you, Draft Cheat. I do like the squad so far. It's definitely a little bit different than what I've done before. And there goes Keston Hero, who is a guy that I had in my queue. But again, a batting average issue, which is kind of one thing that's popping up here is batting average. Kiki leading off is really interesting. I'm a little surprised by that, honestly, considering I thought Verdugo would be their leadoff guy. So yeah, that's interesting. I mean, gives him a lot more value. Plus, he's multi-positional eligible, which is always nice. All right, so I got one guy in the queue right now. Kind of looking, seeing what I want to do with kind of a backup. I think there's a chance that the other guy I want. Okay. I think there's a chance that both the guys in my queue right now will be there when it gets back to me. So also kind of putting a few other guys in my queue right now just to have guys. Because there goes Alec Baum, who I like a lot, but I was not necessarily considering quite yet. Jose Altuve, batting average asset. He gone. How do I feel about my power? Cruz would have fit well. I definitely light on power, but like as long as I address batting average, there goes Paddock. I got Paddock super, super late yesterday. I was really surprised how late. I mean, I got him at like 160 something, I think. That's where it was. I set the max pick on him over the last like month, I think, in online championships. It's like my number 6 starter, number 5 or 6 starter. I think I definitely need to address power, but I can get power later as long as I address my batting average a little bit early. Because there are power guys late. I'm not super worried about that. There goes McNeil. He's a batting average asset. I'm not a big McNeil guy, though. And I can't even find him on my sheet for some reason. Oh, because they have him listed in the outfield. All right. So now we're coming around the turn here at the 8-9. Liking the team so far. Definitely light and power. It's kind of my lightest area right now. But I'm okay with that. Getting 6 for the Mets. It says McNeil. Interesting. I mean, you would think people who are drafting McNeil were hoping he was going to bat first or second, right? He's clearly not. And if the power doesn't come back, there goes Victor Robles. He was on my list, even though he's kind of a batting average deficiency. I just love that pick this year. So good pick by dude at the 1 spot. Grab him at the back end of the 8th round. So see where he goes now. The top guy in my queue is still there, which is good. I like that. If he goes, I don't know what I'm going to do. I mean, I do know what I'm going to do, but I hope he is still there. There goes Zach Greinke. He was, I think, the top pitcher available, or one of them. So, but I feel pretty good about my starting pitching already with Giolito, Scherzer, and Hendricks. Though my shit. Okay, hold on, something's wrong. Okay, hold on, guys. I gotta figure out what I did wrong here. Because on my roster sheet, it's saying I have Plesac. I do not have Plesac. That should be over here. Who was my last pick? My last pick was Moncada. I didn't give myself Moncada. There's the issue. Okay, I've got to figure out where I went wrong here. So it was, I had Swanson, Moncada, Hura, Baum, Altuve, Paddock, McNeil, Robles, Sorry, guys. Sometimes when my draft software doesn't turn out the way, or I make a mistake, and then I've got to go back and fix it. So I'm going to try to do that real quick, and hope that my guy doesn't get taken here. Okay, so it was Moncada, then Plesac, then Hira, then Baum, then Altuve, then Paddock, then McNeil, and then it went Robles, Greinke, Muncy. Muncy was the guy I missed. And finding Muncy is always a problem because he's eligible everywhere. Okay, I'm on deck. My top guy is still on the board. Buxton's gone. Wheeler's gone. Sonny Gray's gone. Dylan Moore just went. Okay. And Moore, I believe, is right there. Okay. All right, now I'm all caught up. Yeah. That's I really don't understand it necessarily why they're not batting McNeil higher up in the lineup, honestly. There goes Zach Gallen. Okay, so a little bit earlier than I thought he would go. I've got plenty of shares of Gallen, and I just, with the injury, I'm kind of shying away from it now, even though I did take him in my main event. We didn't know quite what the injury was at that point. I wish I hadn't taken him quite so early, but I'm okay with it. Okay, so now I need to address some power, and I need to address some batting average to give me myself some more leeway going on later on. So here's a guy I took in my main event that I don't have a lot of other shares of, in Charlie Blackmon. So batting average, some power, runs scored, playing Colorado. There we go. Gray or Gallen this year. I think you got to go Gray right now, but I like Gallen better. Honestly, I would not go for either, to be quite honest. So there goes Charlie Morton. All right. And there goes Brad Hands. People soaking up some of those closers a little bit. Dun, dun. There goes Baez. Baez fell a long way. All right. So now we're looking at, I just want to look up a guy real quick that's in my queue that is still on the board, and I just want to make sure he's actually healthy and everything. He is. Okay, so there goes Luzardo. So, like that. All right. And there goes Dom Smith. Okay. Andres Jimenez. Okay, that's a good pick by Colin. Kind of a jerk, but he's okay with that. So I'm just adding a few guys to my queue. I'm pretty sure I know who I'm going to take here. Obviously, I know I'm going to take here as long as he gets to me. The question is, does he get to me? And if he doesn't, do I want to go a different direction? So, and there he goes. So there goes Anthony Rizzo. Rizzo's a guy I don't have a lot of shares of this year, and I definitely was debating him. So now the question is, what do I want to do here? I think I know who I'm going to take as long as he doesn't get sniped. I want to just double check. Kind of see who else might be an option here. All right, there goes Josh Bell. Bell wasn't the guy I was looking at. All right, now I'm debating who I want here. Okay. Yeah, he's gonna. Gallen's gonna be on the IL. So I think. You know what? I'm gonna take Stanton here. I'm gonna grab some power. I don't have a lot of shares of Stanton because I've gotten so much cruise. And I know he's UT only, but he's healthy right now, looking good. So I'm gonna take Stanton and be okay with that. Getting some power. My biggest weakness right now is power. So definitely want to add to that. I think there's a chance that the other three guys actually in my queue right now will be there when it gets back to me. Also throwing some more guys in. So kind of just taking a look. There goes Carrasco. Uh-oh. Got to look at something. Is this guy doing what I think he's done? All right. So the guy that took Gallen just took Carrasco. There is no IL. So he's already taken 2 injury stashes, guys who are going to be out a while. So I don't know if he's watching. If you're watching, you want to stop doing that. If you're not watching, you should have been watching. There's no IL spot. You're not going to be able to hold on to any more stashes. So there goes Verdugo. Okay. So, and the thing about this, so this guy last night did it. Another guy in my main event did it, where clearly newer players have not had this happen to them before. And I mean, it's what happened to me in my first main event. I thought I would be able to survive drafting injured players. I was not. And it's kind of a lesson learned. The main event where I did it and where the guy in my first main event did it, that's a really expensive lesson. So, and the guy who did it last night, it's $350. So it's still an expensive lesson, but it's not quite as expensive as $1,700. Cindy Alcantara. All right. So I got 6 guys in my queue, all of which I would be happy with in the next round. One of them, I think, just went in Joe Musgrove. I do have lots of Joe Musgrove. Someone asked earlier, but obviously this is about the spot where he was going to get picked, so I didn't want to say anything. But I do have a fair amount of Joe Musgrove this year. I can actually quickly bring up my shares list So I've got him in 2 NFBC leagues, so not that many actually. And I'm pretty sure I have him in both. I know I have him in Tout. I might have him in Labor, and I might have him in Barf. So that's Will Smith, the catcher, going off the board right there. So I wouldn't have mind getting another share right here. If he had made it back to me, I might have taken them. There goes Dylan Bundy, who I don't really have any shares of this year. Dun, 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 dun. Bundy, where are you? There you are. There's Bundy. All right. So, all right, coming up to the 10th round. As we do, I will move the draft board down a little bit so that way we can kind of focus a little bit more on. Oh, there goes Eddie Rosario. Eddie Rosario was on my list. It was the best value left, so I like that pick. He was clearly far and away the best guy left on my board. I got him yesterday, and I think I got him in my main too, so it's okay that I didn't get him here. Cabrera Hayes, he was high up on my list, but I already have 2 third basemen in Moncada and Suarez. Now, Suarez could move to middle at some point, but at least for the first 10 days, I can't take another third baseman, at least that I'm not willing to just put on my reserve list for the first 10 days. So there goes Urias. He's a guy I got a lot of early shares of, and I've not gotten many shares of since because I'm a little afraid of what his role is going to be, how deep they're going to let him go into games. I think they trust him quite a bit, but there goes Sal Perez. There goes Marcus Semien, another guy who was on my list. But that's okay. So if this guy, so I got 3 guys still in my queue right now. I'd be pretty stoked if any of them make it to me. Will Stanton ever play enough to get eligibility? I don't know. I think they have played him in the outfield a little bit. But I mean, they still have, even with Talkman going down today, now that Jay Bruce is going to play first for a month and a half, there goes Yastrzemski, who I haven't been on this year, but people keep barking at me. I should be more in on him. I think Stan will play some outfield, but I don't think it's going to be super regular. So I think to get 10 games in season eligibility, it's gonna take at least a month, if not longer. So I think they want to protect him as much as they can. All right, so I still got the top 3 guys in my queue, which is great. I just added another for the next round. There goes Kevin Gausman, who is not my queue. All right. So I'm going to get one of my top 2 guys. One's a hitter, one's a pitcher. Yes, I should be in on yes. I probably should be more. And there goes Tommy Pham, who is not my queue. So I'm going to now have to make a decision on which one of these top 2 guys I want. Do I want the hitter or want the pitcher? I don't think either are likely to make it back to me. Okay, hold on. I fucked up somewhere. Okay, so, because I didn't give Tommy Pham to this guy. And now I'm not seeing Pham. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Mike Moustakas here. Get me some more power. And he's got first and second base eligibility. He will gain third base eligibility in season. So I like those guys who are going to give me, and that really helped my teams. But now the batting average becomes a little bit more of an issue. So, yeah, so Yaz is a guy that I haven't been super in on. His StatCast stuff is mediocre in some regards. You know, he does have a decent barrel percentage, which helps, but I also think he's going to lose some of those homers that we saw last year because they're going to have that gate open with the fans being allowed in the stadium, which, you know, lets that jet stream or kind of quells down the jet stream that helped it San Francisco turn into a hitter's park last year. Pablo Lopez. That was the other guy I was debating. So that's a little bit of a bummer. There goes Tommy Edman, another one of those multi-position eligible guys. There goes Sixto. So now I've got two guys in my queue, both of which I'd be fine with in the next pick. One is a guy I really like. Another guy fills a need for this team because I have a few needs. One guy I feel like, oh, there goes Matt Chapman. Can't take a third baseman right now anyway, so that's okay. So interested to see kind of who makes it back to me. I'm just kind of looking at positional needs I have. Now that I've got Moustakas, I can move him to either first or second, which are two spots I did in the previous. Oh, there goes Frankie Montas, pitcher I do like, but I have a lot of shares of Montas. Let's see, I believe I've got just Montas. I have 8 shares just in NFBC. And there goes Gallo. Weatherwax got his Gallo. So I'm happy for Colin. He loves Joey Gallo. So now we got 2 guys ahead of me, 2 guys on my board or in my queue. How much you weighing Crackdown on foreign substance in your pitches? I'm not really. I there was a great pod that Jeff Erickson on the RotoWire podcast, he had, there goes Chris Bryant, and there goes Will Myers. Okay, so both my guys made it to me. So there was a great pod on the RotoWire podcast. He had Ryan Bloomfield on last Thursday. One of the things Ryan was saying, and I really agree with him, is we don't know how this is going to be enforced, right? We have no real clue on like how this is going to actually, be done by. All right, so what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna take Patrick Corbin, guy I love this year. I've gotten him a bunch of different places. My 4th starting pitcher in this league, and my top pitcher on my board right now. So what I was saying is, we just don't know how Major League Baseball is going to attack this issue. So I'm not going to, obviously I think it hurts potentially Trevor Bauer, might even hurt Garrett Cole, but it might just hurt pitchers just across the board. Tell folks to like the video. Like the video if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook especially. And if you're not, if you're on Twitch, Justin Mason FWFB, go subscribe. I'm just not going to overrate when I don't. Oh, there goes Cron. I just put him in my queue. I'm not going to overrate things that I don't have any clue to what the effects are going to be, right? So, and I just don't think we know enough yet on how they're going to crack down. We don't even know what the punishment is. Okay, they catch a guy. Does that mean he just gets tossed from the game? Or does that mean he gets suspended? And so, I don't, and we honestly don't know what guys are doing it or what guys aren't doing it. We think more guys are doing it than not. So, it probably hurts everybody across the board. But does it just counteract the fact that they've done the ball? Who fucking knows? There's just so it's so difficult to figure that out that I'm not going to waste time and energy trying to dig in and figure it out, honestly. So maybe that is a lazy way of looking at it, but considering how much time and effort I already put into things, it's just not worth doing it. So the punishment should be they have to play a full game in the onesie you're wearing in your photo. I don't know the punishment for what. Punishment for if they get caught. That's pretty funny. All right, Tyler Molly off the board. That would stop them from doing it. I don't want them to stop them from doing it. I want pitchers to be able to locate and not hit batters. And I think a lot of hitters feel the same way. So I think it's silly. Best thing to do for scoring, if we're being honest, not going to speed up games. Yeah. Let's see Bartolo in that if he was still around. He's playing somewhere. He's playing like in the Dominican League or something, I want to say, this winter. All right, so I got one guy still in my queue. He was kind of my backup last round to Corbin. I don't know if he'll make it back to me, so I've really got to start thinking about who would be kind of the next guy. There goes Jorge Soler. Who would be kind of my next guy if for some reason he goes? And I'm really kind of debating what that would mean. Okay, so be interested to see if he makes it back. I feel like he's not going to make it back, so I need to come up with a plan here. And we're at pick 144. There goes Ohtani. I actually just looked at him and I was like, wait, I can't take Ohtani because I already have a UT only player. Okay. Oh, of course, I'm looking at pitchers when I wanted to look up a hitter. So that's a problem, obviously. Okay. Okay. All right. There goes your Urquidy. I like Urquidy, but I'm not quite in on the hype train that seems to be just going wild on him right now. And there goes Mountcastle. Is there any news on Mountcastle? I think someone was telling me yesterday that he might be one of the COVID guys in Baltimore. Anybody know? Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, Spore and Eno are definitely driving the Urquidy train. And like I said, I like him. I don't know that I'm quite ready to anoint him a future ace like other people. And there goes Lamet, who I could not get any farther away from. And then goes Grandal. Oh, I'm actually. Is that possible? Okay, well, he's my backup now. Grandal. Yeah, I mean that's the hard part is I don't know how many innings we're gonna get from Urquidy. I mean, Houston has to kind of push him, right? Because they're kind of hurting in their rotation with Framber out for a little while. there goes Franmil, the aforementioned Franmil. Good pick by Vogel, 150, 149. There goes Aaron Savali, another hype guy. All right, so I'm going to get one of my top 2 guys in the queue, both of which I really like, especially at the price. Or one I really like, especially at the price. The other one I'm like, I really like because of the price. And I want to just kind of make sure that he's actually nothing's wrong with him, because I'm just a bit surprised he hasn't gone. Oh, seems fine. Strictly trusting Eno on that. I mean, I love Eno's analysis on pitchers. Like, and same with Paul. Like, they're the 2 guys, and Nick Pollock, throw those 3 guys in there. Throw Doug Thorburn in there. Those are 4 guys I trust the most in terms of pitching. Okay, so Rhys Hoskins goes. Where is Mr. Hoskins? Make sure my draft sheet is properly updated. It is. Look at what my team needs are. Okay. Now we go back. This is hard. There's 2 guys I really like. I'm gonna take Wilson Contreras here, because he is way past his ADP. I don't usually take catchers this early, but that's just a really, really good price on Wilson Contreras. So remember when Hoskins was the second coming of Jesus? Yeah. Well, that's Reading. So their minor league affiliate Reading, I think it's their AA affiliate. It's a launching pad. And I mean, not that Hoskins needs a launching pad to hit a bunch of home runs, but it's just, it's just a really, really good spot to hit. It's why Kingery, who got sent down, I think today, it's one of the reasons why he had such big hype when he got brought up. There goes Trey Mancini. He was a guy I was definitely thinking about. His hype train starting. And there goes Kluber. I took Kluber yesterday, but he really struggled today. So I doubt I'll end up with any. Well, I've only got one more draft after this one, main event. So I'm not going to end up with more Kluber unless he really falls in a draft, which he's not doing unless news comes out before Wednesday that he's hurt. Describes Togman Shin as precautionary. Okay. But I mean, there goes Michael Brantley. So Michael Brantley was the guy that he was the guy I was looking at. I wanted him for batting average. Because my batting average is at a place right now where, depending on who I take, it fluctuates quite a bit. So, like, last pick, it was like, okay, my batting average is fine. Take Contreras because he's, projected to hit like 250 something, 250, 260. Then all of a sudden my batting average drops. So I was really hoping. I didn't think he'd make it back around to me though, but there's a really good value there on Brantley. So why haven't MLB players just been vaccinated? Because they can't just push people to the front of the line like that, unfortunately. It would look really bad if they pushed. Now, I think everybody who can be vaccinated or that wants to be vaccinated and can be vaccinated will be vaccinated pretty early into the season. So hopefully COVID will become less of an issue in the second half, but I do think we're going to continue to see issues here in the first few months of the season. And so it's just kind of a reminder, like, don't overly stack teams like I did in my first main event where I drafted the entire Houston outfield. And that's been a problem because I lost Miles Straw. Who knows how long he'll be out for, but we shall see. So we're at pick 158, and I've got one guy sitting on my board right now. And then I've got another guy I'm looking at because we're now in the spot where it would make a little bit of sense for him. So there goes Chris Bassett. I want to make sure my board is okay. So Bassett is right there. All right. So we're now at this spot where maybe I don't know what I can do here. All right, I got one guy on my queue. I want to look up. Okay, there goes Christian Vasquez. So okay. I definitely don't want to do that. All right. I'm gonna pop a little early on Gene Segura. One, he's got second and third base eligibility, which is always nice. I really going to play him at second base, considering I already had 2 third basemen. But I like the batting average. I need the batting average help. He will steal a few bases, hit a few home runs. Not like a world beater by any stretch of the imagination, but kind of helps give me a little bit of batting average. Bruce Zimmerman made the starting rotation. When did that happen? Oh, geez, gross. Justin Mason always popping a little bit early. I actually, in my draft yesterday, man, I sent a bunch of maxes, which was, I mean, just some guys who it's like, I don't necessarily want to take this guy here, or I wouldn't normally take this guy here, wouldn't normally take him, period. But because they were such great values, Paddock was one I got super late. I'm trying to remember who the other guys were, but I think I sent 3 maxes yesterday in the online championship. Renfroe's going to hit 10 home runs in the Red Sox opening series. They could against the Orioles for sure. All right, there goes Eric Hosmer, who was a guy I was thinking about a little bit. But now my infield is full except for my MI. I've got lots of outfield spots. I got a catcher spot. I got 4 pitcher spots. So I've got some work to do. I like this team. I'm not liking it quite as much as I liked my team yesterday, but I'm liking it a fair amount. It's pretty balanced, which is nice. That's one of the things. Like I can still go a lot of different directions with this team. There goes Didi. Oh, Will Smith and Didi. So let's see. Ian Happ, who was on my list. Then Vogel took Will Smith. Then Luke Voigt. Okay, so I was thinking about Luke Voigt. I talked myself out of it because I don't want the guys who are already injured on my team already. So that's one of the reasons I just kind of stayed away from it. Not that I don't think this will be like a seriously bad injury for him or anything like that. There goes Austin Nola, another guy who's probably going to start the year on the IL, though he could be ready. And if he's ready, that's a good price on Nola. But I'm just kind of playing it safe a little bit with those guys. So got 4 guys in my queue right now that I'm kind of looking at. No IL spots. There are no IL spots. None. No IL spots in this league. And that's, I don't know if you're just joking because I've already talked about it a bunch, but like people don't realize how pivotal that is in NFBC leagues, is that you can't stash people. Like you've got 7 reserve spots, 7 bench spots, and no IL. And so if you stash, more than 1 or 2 people, and then you lose another person, so it's risky to take Voigt. I like Voigt, and that's not a bad price for him necessarily. But still, I mean, we're talking about him going in the top 170, and you're going to have to hold him, for, quite a while, Yeah, it's a little bit scary that, this is what happened to me in my first main event, right? So I was like, I drafted Severino, got him at a really good price, but I drafted him. I drafted Carlos Martinez, and I drafted one other guy who was injured, and then I drafted Martin Maldonado, and he got injured during the draft. And it was like all of a sudden I had these 4 injured guys, and then I got crushed with other early injuries, and it was like all I had to do was make it to May, and I had a real shot of winning that league. And doing really well, but I didn't make it to May. My team was dead by the time we got to May. I had to work really hard not to finish dead last in the overall. All right, so Hicks goes now. All right. So I'm pretty sure I know who I'm going to take here. I'm kind of just putting some other guys in the queue actually for the next round after that. There was one of the guys I just put in the queue. Okay. So Billy's just crushing my queue today. There goes Nick Senzel. He's dealing with an injury. Or at least he hasn't been playing, so I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know if he's back yet. This is not a draftable. This is a fab league. There's a 12-team fab league, so you can pick up people, so which makes a difference for sure. But at the same time, you need to be able to turn over your bench a lot in these 12-team leagues. Ty France. It's a bit early on France, but I don't mind it. All right, so I'm pretty sure I know who I'm getting here. And then I've got a bunch of guys kind of set up for my next round. So I want to just kind of take a look. Dun, dun, dun. There goes Amelia Pagan. So, as long as I don't get sniped here. I mean, if I get sniped, then I'll just pivot to one of the other guys I've got kind of lined up here. But waiting and seeing who this guy's going to take. It takes Kyle Lewis. All right. Another guy's probably going to start the year on the IL. All right. So, just kind of looking at my team. Pretty balanced across the board. I like where my team is right now. I'm going to take Jared Kalenic. It is a stash, but a stash I think worth taking. He's going to be up fairly early. I'm not going to risk that someone snipes him from me. I immediately move him into my outfield. So that way I remember, move him into my reserve list. That way I remember, okay, he's not going to be on my opening day roster. But I love Kalenic. I think he's going to be a monster once he gets up. So I'm pretty stoked on that. So now it's a matter of who makes it back around to me. There goes Ryan McMahon. Not someone I was necessarily thinking about right now. There's Kyle Schwarber. Let's see. I'm just looking up a potential guy for my next pick. I've got 4 guys queued up. I'm sure one of them will make it to me. But there's one guy that I really, really like that's still around. And while it's not necessarily one of my bigger needs, oh, there goes Amir Garrett. I know they said today that they're not going to name a closer in Cincinnati. Oh, Anthony Santander. Okay, so Santander was the guy I was looking up. I was kind of seeing what the issue is with his oblique. But it sounds like he's going to be ready for opening day. But, all right, so I missed out. Whatever. That's a bummer, but whatever. Don't really care that much. It's not like a huge loss for me. So I kind of go back to my plan of there goes Craig Kimbrell. So we got a little bit of a closer run going here. And then goes oh, I missed somebody. Hold on. Got to go back. All right, so Schwarber went to him. Then it was Garrett, then Santander. Oh, I missed Urshela. So Urshela, and then it was Kimbrell. Little closer double up. So Gary Sanchez, I wasn't necessarily considering there, but I set the max pick on him yesterday, which was and of course then I put him on the wrong team because I'm talking, and I am on the clock, so I got to find McKenzie real quick. I do like Tristan McKenzie. I think people are overrating his risk a little bit, but there is some risk there. Okay, so then it was Gary Sanchez. All right. So it's now my pick. I've got 26 seconds. I've got someone in my queue just in case I don't make my pick in time. But I'm just kind of looking at my other options. I think I'm going to take someone I don't have a lot of shares of. That is a closer, and that's Rafael Montero. So supposedly Santander is getting game action on Monday. Hey, that's great. I have a lot of Santander. Santander, I believe is how it's pronounced. Santander. No, Santander, I think is how it's pronounced. So I'll take Montero. Montero hasn't looked great in spring, but I just don't think they're going to give that job to anybody else. So right now, I'm liking my team. I'm pretty balanced all the way around. I don't really have any major holes that I'm super worried about. There it goes. Donaldson. That's a good value on Donaldson if he's healthy. Question is he healthy? There goes James Paxton. I like that Paxton pick. I got a lot of early Paxton, and I've not gotten a lot of Paxton since. Vogel takes Winker. Mike Soroka, a guy I'm not in on this year because of the health. All right. It's starting to get a little warm in here, guys. I really like your team a lot, Colin. Baseball HQ has you projected as the number 1 team so far, and me number 2. So I really do like your team a lot. I don't think you'll beat me because I'm just better than you. almost getting Bueller in the third was mind-blowing. Yeah, I almost took Bueller, but I don't have lots of shares of Scherzer, and so I wanted to take him. Otherwise, I would have taken Bueller. It was kind of between Bueller and Scherzer for me. And while I have Bueller, I think, ranked higher, I don't have lots of – I want to diversify a little bit more. Okay, so Madrigal goes. So right now, if I look at the projections that Baseball HQ has in the Rotolab software, and this is using their projections, obviously, I've got my own projections that I used for my actual picks, but as you as the number one team, Colin, and me as the number two team. So you and I crushing it for sure. Don't take my guys. You were the jerk that fucking just sniped me just to snipe me last night. So don't be like, oh, don't take my guys. You don't take my guys, dude. So there goes Jameson Tyon. And Zach Eflin goes. I was thinking about Eflin. I don't have a lot of shares of Eflin. A little worried about the back, but supposedly he's going to be ready. Supposedly he's going to be ready for opening day. They're probably going to limit him early on, which is fine. It's not a 60-game season, 162-game season. So as long as guys are actually playing, I'm less worried about that kind of thing. So coming around here, the 17th round. Oh, I need to move the draft board down. I apologize, everyone. So I'll move it down to there. So that way you guys can kind of see the last couple rounds and everything that's coming up in the future. Yeah, last night was tough. It helped that I was next to the guy that kept taking all the stash picks. Andrew Vaughn. There we go. That is not a bad spot for him. It was a tough room. It was a lot of fun. These 12s are really different for me. I'm so used to playing 15s that the 12s can be a little bit tricky in terms of, really remembering there's going to be more replacement value available later. So right now I've got a catcher spot available. I have an MI spot available as well, but I can fill that with Mike Moustakas because he is eligible in different places. I also have Segura is eligible in different places. I've got 3 outfield spots. Outfield is super deep normally. So in a 12, it's really deep. So I'm not super worried that I haven't filled those positions. And then I've got 3 pitcher spots. There goes Jake Cronenworth. He was a guy I was kind of eyeing. Now there's 3 guys still on my board from my last round. There goes Justin Turner. I love Justin Turner, but I don't have the flexibility to use him. Oh, shoot. And I fucked up my thing again. Hold on. Oh, because I didn't see the Clint Frazier pick. So, all right. Clint Frazier, then Justin Turner. And now caught back up. Played ADP chicken with RP sad face. Yeah, that's the hard part. ADP for relievers is really not as useful because people they go in these streaks. Tommy LaStella removed from the game after being hit with the right pitch. Oh no, that's not good. Got some LaStella. So ADP is not super useful when it comes to relievers. People just kind of pop on relievers, especially in FBC. So people just pop on relievers when they feel like it's time. So it has some bearing, but not a ton of bearing on kind of what people are going to do. So there goes Austin Riley, and then AJ Pollock. So Austin Riley is a third baseman. He's right there. There goes AJ Pollock right there. Okay, so now I've got a kind of a decision to make. I think what I'm going to do here is just go get my guy, right? So I love Manny Margot. I think he is extremely undervalued. So I'll pop on him a little bit early here to make sure I get him. I've got the 3 outfield spots. Plus, it adds to my speed, and he's not devoid of power. So really like that. And I just, there are other guys that I like too that I have in my queue, but there are other options. There's a lot of similar guys like that. So, and then Mitch Haniger goes. I'm still not buying in on the Mitch Haniger train right now. I love the talent. I just don't trust the health. Okay, so Domingo Germán then goes. All right. So now we're starting to really now Colin's got a pick. And you don't want to get sniped on Margot again. I don't want to get sniped on Margot again. And that pick of Margot right there means he has moved up to my second most rostered player. All right, so McCutchen goes. That's a good pick. I like McCutchen. Just kind of an unsexy but very good player. That because he's older, he kind of gets bounced out. Remember when he was a first-round pick? It wasn't that long ago. So, all right, so I got 2 cigarettes left and 12 rounds. I don't know if that's going to work out well for me. I think it was Mitch Garver, another catcher off the board. At this point, I've already got Wilson Contreras. It's the earliest, not the earliest I've taken a catcher, but earlier than I usually take a catcher. I'm probably not going to take another catcher until a little bit later. 12-team leagues, not as urgent for catchers as it is in a 15-team. I mean, I'm actually okay punting catcher in 15-team leagues as well. All right. So there's 2 guys in my queue right now. There's also like a million guys that I like that are still around because it is a 12-team league. And for some reason, it is not letting me put – I'm going to have to refresh. Okay, there we go. Don't refresh. All right. Oh, Marcus Stroman. There was one of the other guys that I was just thinking about. So, all right. So that takes him out of there. So kind of looking at what I want to do here. I've got a bunch of guys in my queue right now. Can you Uber 6? I've got cigarettes outside in my cabinet where I keep them, but that involves me having to run and go get them. I may do that after this pick, but I need to actually catch up right here. So Stroman, let's see. Okay, I don't need to catch up very much because I was only 1 pick behind. So after I make this pick, I'm going to go run and grab my smokes. I'll be back in like 5 seconds. I actually may go pee real quick too, so I'll be back in a minute. But I want to kind of see. I think one of my top 2 guys is going to make it, and they're kind of interchangeable. There goes Pineda, not one of my top 2 guys. So now I'm debating if both of these guys make it to me. I don't think both will. So we'll see. I think Hammock here. Hey, what's up, Sean? I think Hammock here is going to take. Oh, he didn't. He took a closer. I figured he was going to take a closer. I didn't know which closer he was going to take. So now I'm kind of in an interesting position because I want to take a closer right here. The question is, which one do I want to take? Okay, so then I go look at my ranks and I go, okay, who's the highest left on my board? And I say, I say I take Greg Holland. The second day in a row, I'm taking Greg Holland. All right. So I'm okay with that. I think Holland is pretty locked in as the guy until he gets traded or until he gets hurt. So, and there goes Archie Bradley, who is one of the other guys I was considering. All right, I'm going to go run and grab my smokes. Pee real quick. I'll be right back. Freddie Peralta was on my board too because he's been moved up quite a bit, even though I'm not a huge Peralta guy. I thought maybe I'd take a shot on him just for the hell of it. All right, I'll be right back. All right, and I'm back. And I have those. Okay, so I need to catch up real quick. So, oh, that hurts. Oh, I'm getting murdered this round. Okay, so Martin took Freddie Peralta. Then Colton Wong, who was high up on my list, goes. Then Kepler is high up on my list, goes. Then Devin Williams, who is not necessarily high up on my list, goes. Then Andrew Heaney, who is super high up on my list, goes. That's one of the guys that Colin snaked on me yesterday, and I'm pretty sure he did it just to piss me off. So now my board is caught up. Okay. So once again, team is still really balanced. Starting to fall a little bit behind in some starting pitching categories. I still could add some power, but I like the team in general. So there goes Aaron Hicks, who I love, but I just don't trust him to stay healthy ever. All right. So moving quite fairly quickly. We're not even 2 hours in. We're done with 18 rounds, so not bad. So I have 3 closers, which is awesome. I love having 3 closers already. Tavares. So, yesterday, one of the things I did was load up on reliever darts. I don't feel like I need to do that quite as much here now because I've got 3 guys who I feel pretty confident are the guy. So I'll definitely it's definitely a different build than it was yesterday. So there goes Willie Castro. That's a good pick. Castro's a guy I've been turned around on this offseason. Benintendi, I just have not been getting very many places. Are darts expensive where I live? I don't think so. Sometimes they are. It depends on what the dart you're throwing is, I guess. So kind of just looking at who's kind of available for my next pick. There goes Herman Marquez. I like Marquez, but Colorado, man, and this starting in Colorado. So that's taking a spot. I think his first 2 starts are going to be in Colorado, which means either you've got to gamble or you can't, can't use him, which is hard. That's a nice pick by Vogel. Jock Peterson is he's been great this spring. I don't know how much he's going to play against lefties, but slang for them in cigarettes. Cigarettes are super effing expensive here. They're really, really expensive. Way too expensive. I'm actually going to try to quit around opening day. Might be on opening day, might be the weekend of opening day. We'll see. All right. So, interested to see who's going to make it back here to me. I've got 2 guys in my queue. One guy that I've been more enthused on than the other. Oh, okay. So Tapia goes, who is not necessarily who I was targeting. And then Sean Murphy goes, who I was thinking about. But that's okay. Again, I don't need to take catchers. So I'm debating between 2 starting pitchers. One who I like a little bit more than the other, but another who I don't have really many shares of. I'm a little intrigued by him. And I'm going to go with him. I'm going to take Eliza Hernandez. I haven't been a Eliza Hernandez fan in the past because he's been a 2-pitch guy, but he's been showing a 3rd pitch, which is interesting just because he's got a ton of strikeout upside. So, and the Marlins let their pitchers kind of go. So I'm going to take the gamble here on Hernandez and just to have some exposure to him. If the other guy makes it back around to me, I'm not going to be opposed to taking him. So there's also another guy that I'm quite interested in on that's still around. But he's less of a I want to see what he's doing in spring just to have an idea of how he's hitting right now. And one of those guys may get stolen from me prior to it. P around $10 a pack. Yeah, it's pretty close to $10 a pack here. I mean, I buy by the carton, so it's a little bit cheaper, but I'm still paying close to $10 a pack either way. So Seager went, and then Odorizzi went. 2 guys that were not really targets for me. See what Colin does. He might snipe me here. I also need to take a look at my team and kind of see where I'm at. Okay, so one guy definitely fits my team better than the other. Marco Gonzalez. That was the guy. That was the guy that I was looking at. So that's a little bit of a bummer. Okay, so there goes Garrett Hampson and Justice Sheffield. Sheffield wasn't necessarily a guy I was going to be taking, but Hampson is always a Mason favorite. I haven't gotten a lot of Hampson this year. And while he was batting leadoff and playing every day in spring for a little while there, it seems like they've kind of cooled on him a little bit, and I don't really understand why. So Gavin Lux is a really good pick by Colin as well. There goes Wilson Ramos. All right. So now it's a question of what do I want to do here? I've got I still have 2 outfield spots, a catcher, and then an infield spot. It can be MI, it could be first. So it could be either of those. I have 2 guys queued up right here. And I want to just check out a couple other guys. I like drafting next to Hammock. I know he's watching and stuff, but he takes his time with his picks, which is always nice because it gives me time. And now I'm on the clock. So I think I know who I'm going to take here, but I'm very interested in another guy who I don't have a lot of shares of. That would be a really nice fit for my team if I can find him. All right, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna take Hunter Dozier here. Don't have a lot of Hunter Dozier. I can put him at first, move Moustakas over to MI, and now I've got a guy who can play infield or outfield. I can also move Dozier to outfield where I've got extra spots if I want. But it adds that position flexibility. He's killing it in spring right now. He's hitting 293, 370, 707 slug, 4 home runs, a fair amount of strikeouts, but walking a little bit. And this is a guy everybody's really stoked on, and then he got COVID and struggled last year, and I don't think people are giving him enough leeway on that. Plus, the other guy I want, I think there's a chance he makes it back to me. Nimmo, that's a guy that I could have gone for. I like Nimmo, especially because it looks like Nimmo's going to be leading off. Okay, so I got to catch up. Let's see. Wilson Ramos, then John Means. Then I took Dozier. Then it went Nimmo. Kirk. People buying in on that Kirk. Might be a really good pick. I was thinking about him, but I was definitely going to be thinking about him later. Davies. So I'm just adding some guys to my queue for later. Sano, I like Sano, but batting average is going to be a problem for him, and I don't want to hurt my batting average. So, thanks for helping, Bill. Hey, there you go. Yes, good to see you. If you guys are watching on the Twitch, go ahead and subscribe to my Twitch feed. I don't do a lot of Twitch, but anytime I do a live anything, it goes on my Twitch. And so that's I'm going to try to do more Twitch stuff in season, but I've yet to even hook up my PlayStation. And we'll get third, and we'll get third eligibility. Oh, yeah, I didn't think about the fact he didn't get third. I got a lot of guys who are eligible at third, so that's not as big of a bonus for me, but it's always good to have the multi-positional eligibility. There goes Christian Walker. He was a guy that I had in my queue that I almost took over Dozier, but I've got some Walker, and Dozier's flexibility really helps. So coming around here to the end of the 20th round. There we go. I'm on Twitch now instead of Twitter. Hey, yeah, I'm definitely trying to use the Twitch a little bit more. I haven't even hooked up my PlayStation like I just said, but at some point I will. I just bought a TV for my office, so that'll be nice. And anytime I do live podcasts, they'll be on Twitch as well. So I don't know how to use it as much as I probably should at this point. All right, so Brady Singer just went. He's a guy I like. I haven't been getting a lot of shares of recently because people are popping on him a little earlier. But a great pick by Billy, who's been really tough in this draft. Always really tough, dude. So, all right, let's see. And Singer is going to be their third starter. Okay, so he's going to get a start at the beginning of the season, which is always important to make sure you're getting enough pitchers so you can field the guys you want. Mike Minor, that's a Spore guy. I've come around a little bit on Minor, and I know he looked good early in spring, but I haven't really checked on how he's been doing since. I'm going to move down the draft board a little bit or a lot bit, so that way I don't have to worry about moving it down again. So I apologize if people were looking. I'll show the full board when I do kind of the overview of my team. Still liking this team. It's much different than my team yesterday, but I still really like it. So not quite as much as I liked my team yesterday, but it's definitely a fun team. I think it's going to do fairly well. Let's see how these last 10 picks shake out, because obviously we're not done drafting. There goes Soria. So I'm surprised Soria lasted as long as he did. And there's two guys right now that are kind of the top of my queue that I'd be really stoked on getting. The question is, will either of them be there for me when it gets to my pick? It's still 6 picks away, so I'm kind of just taking a look, seeing at what my team needs. Like, the beauty is I've got some pretty good flexibility, not great flexibility, but pretty good flexibility where I can move guys around quite a bit. There goes Tarek Skubal. Billy again killing my queue. Skubal got that rotation spot. So, and there goes Framber Valdez, who was in my queue, but I wouldn't have taken him in these next 2 picks, just because while I love Framber, I've got a lot of shares of him already, and I just don't know when he's going to be ready. David Price, just not buying in on Price this year. So I'll look up somebody. There goes Anthony Bass. He was one of the guys at the top of my queue. Just feels really late for Bass considering. Oh, and Ryan Yarbrough, the other guy at the top of my queue. Okay, so now I'm going to have to scramble. So, so closer run right here. So Bass goes, and then Yarbrough grows, and then Tanner Scott goes. So kind of like soaking up some of these last few guys. Shoot. Now who am I going to take? All right. So I'm going to put – where'd he go? I'm going to put this guy at the top of my queue just in case I do get auto-drafted. I'm not losing out on who I want. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Hector Neris. I think there's a chance he could be the closer. And I don't have Bradley on this team. I've got Bradley on a bunch of other teams. But just in case he ends up being the closer, I think we'll know pretty quick. I love this. I did not like your team yesterday, Colin. I do like this team a lot of yours. So I kind of agree with you. So I just took Neris just in case he's the closer, and that would give me my 4th closer. Just kind of try to make sure I've got saves. Saves are always a nightmare, and people spend a lot of time looking for them on the waiver wire, and I don't want to do that. So that is my 9th pitcher. A staff of Giolito, Scherzer, Rosenthal, Kyle Hendricks, Patrick Corbin, Rafael Montero, Greg Holland, Eliza Hernandez, Hector Neris. So now there goes Mark Canha. So now I've got to figure out where I want to go from here. Kind of look and see at my team. I feel like my offense is pretty good. Definitely need to add pieces to it, but I'm going to. So Christian Javier. I think my 2 biggest deficiencies, I don't really have major deficiencies, but I guess power and wins would be – the wins are going to be a nightmare for everyone, so I'm not as worried about that. Oh, I was going to look up somebody. Okay. So I've got some guy – oh, okay. So Trevor let's see. I gotta catch up on who just went. So Canha, then Cristiano Vieira went. Then Trevor Rogers. All right. Oh, except for no, it wasn't Trevor Rogers. Wait, no, was it? Hold on. Okay. Yeah, it was Rogers, and then it was Grichuk. Then it was Smiley. All right. So now I'm caught up. So there goes Eovaldi. It was definitely a consideration because I feel like I've got pretty safe ratios. Oh, shit, I fucked up somewhere. Oh, Ottavino. I forgot Ottavino on draft. Ottavino. And then it was Smiley. And then it was Eovaldi. And then it was Robbie Ray. Gotta find Ray. So it is on me. I'm going to take someone who I don't think I have any shares of. I might have some early shares. Actually, look. I don't have any of him. At least unless I was spelling his name wrong. No, I don't have any of them. And I want to take a shot on Sean Manaea. I've liked Sean Manaea in the past. I'm a little worried about his injury history. But he's looked really good in spring. And I fucked up my thing again. So I gotta go back and figure out where I fucked up. Oh, I left off Eovaldi. All right, so nope, I didn't leave off Eovaldi. Left off someone before Eovaldi. Grichuk. Oh, I left off Grichuk. All right, let's try this again. Grichuk, then Ottavino, then Smiley. Now draft's moving along, trying to trap me here. Ray. All right. So then, nope. I keep messing this up. Sorry, guys. I've got to try to catch up on my draft software because I fucked up, so I fell behind. Emmett took Ray. Then I took Manaea. Then Lucas Sims just went. Then J.D. Davis to Martin. Then Brian Reynolds. Then Chris Taylor. Then Austin Hayes. Then Jake McGee. And McGee pick might be pretty small. Okay, Philly, yeah. Rowdy Tellez. All right, Tellez goes. Okay. So, Neres was type number 3. Vaughn went a while ago. Yeah, Vaughn went. I could probably find him. I think he had gone like 17th round. Yeah, he went at the beginning of the 17th round. So, somebody answered that for you. So, all right, there goes Pomeranz. That's San Diego bullpen. Oh, there goes Whitgren. You jerk, Billy. I have enough closers, so I didn't need Whitgren, but I always like having an extra guy that I think might be a closer for super cheap. So, all right. So, I definitely want to add a few guys to my queue, especially guys maybe I don't have a lot of shares of that I want some shares of. So, putting those guys kind of in my queue, hoping that Barnes just went. So still feeling pretty good about the team. Definitely need to add to this offense, but I will. Jorge Polanco just went. Dun, dun. Tony Gonsolin just went. I love Gonsolin, but I don't know what his role is going to be with this team. I wish they would just go 6 starters in LA. That would hurt my Kershaw shares a little bit, or my Buehler shares, but I still wish they would. All right, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to get one of the top 2 guys in my queue right here, unless they both go in back-to-back picks. So I'm hopeful about that. Jared Walsh just went. That's okay. Not my guy. And then Ian Kennedy went. Another closer spec. I'm going to have to find him in my draft software because not Brett Kennedy, Ian Kennedy. There he goes. Oh, he wasn't hiding as far as down as I thought he was. All right. So, question becomes, which guy do I want to take first and which guy do I think might make it back to me? All right, it looks like Kikuchi is the guy, and he's one of the guys that don't have a lot of shares of. I was like the big Kikuchi guy last year, and now everybody's jumping on the hype train. But I don't have a lot of shares of him this year, and so I want to get another share before end of the season. Plus, he's opening up against my Giants, so that is an easy guy to throw in there. And there's a chance the other guy makes it back around to me. Definitely want to see what the other guy is doing in spring before I... Oh, what am I doing? Oh, no, there you go. Okay. So I can look at Kikuchi. Kikuchi's been great in spring. So I like that. Other guy. All right, so Bard went, and then Posey went. I just don't trust Bard. He was great last year, but it's Colorado, and who knows how long until he turns back into a pumpkin again. Candelario, another Weather Wax favorite. That's why he took him. Okay. So I was a little torn on who I was going to take next year. But I don't know if he makes it back to me. We'll see. All right, so he turn went Alfaro, Dahlbeck. 2 guys I really have not been getting very many shares of. Dahlbeck every once in a while when he's super, super cheap, but I don't want a batting average drain at this point. So with 2 guys in front of me, I got 2 picks queued up. One definitely fits a team better, and then one is, again, another guy I haven't got a lot of shares of that I'd like to get a share of, especially because he is doing well in spring right now, and that's exciting to me. David Peralta just went. All right, let's see if he makes it. There goes Miles Straw. That's a good pick if you need the late speed. Question becomes, when is he going to be ready? And I've got plenty of speed on my team, so I'm not super worried about that. So now it's on, is Hammett going to snipe one of my 2 guys and make the decision really easy, or am I going to have a chance at getting both? I think there's a chance I can get both, but definitely I know one guy is not going to make it back to me, so that's the guy I'm going to take. even though he doesn't really fit necessarily what my team needs right in this moment, I feel like I can get. Oh, Cedric Mullins. See, this is what happens when you draft against people who know you so well. That was mean, Bill. That was mean. I mean, I wasn't going to take him right here, but I'm going to take Matt Boyd, who's been really, really good in spring. And everybody was hyped on him last year. Maybe it's just everybody was a year early. Plus, I think my biggest issue on my pitching staff is wins, and so he'll add to that a little bit. Not that they're going to win a ton of games, but he'll win some. So, Matt Boyd, come on down, and I don't think he would make it back to me. So, that was kind of the process there. So now I've got two guys kind of at the top of my queue. And for the next round, that I'm pretty sure one will make it back to me. I don't know which one. We'll see. All right. And then goes Adam Wainwright. There goes Keuchel. But I've got backups for both guys. Really for one of the guys. So we're looking at hopefully one of them makes it back. I mean, one of them should make it back to me. At least one of the top three in my queue will make it back to me. The question becomes which one does. There goes Taijuan Walker. Justin, would you drop Puig this Sunday, Fab? No, I would drop him. I mean, if he hasn't signed yet, especially with all the guys getting injured and COVID and stuff, and he hasn't signed, I just don't know when he's going to sign. Or if he's going to sign. There may be teams that see, he's accused of sexual harassment, sexual assault, something like that. There may be teams that are just going, nope, not going to deal with it. He's already perceived as a headache, even though I think a lot of the previous stuff is kind of overblown. So now you add in the fact that he's got this other, this pending legal stuff. I think he would have been signed already, if that. And so imagine counting on a wins from a Tigers pitcher. He might get 8 wins. Oh, there goes one of the guys out of my queue, Chris Martin. That was a good pick. I thought about taking the last round. Eduardo Rodriguez, I'm a little worried about the dead arm on top of all the COVID issues from last year. So that's kind of why I stayed away from Rodriguez. All right, see, this is why I got the other pack, because I knew I'd need it. Coming around right now. What round is this? We're about to enter the 25th round. So 5 picks left. A lot of guys still on the board I really like. That's the beauty of these 12-teamers is I never feel like I'm out of players. Doesn't mean they're any easier or harder than a 15-teamer, but I do like these 12-teamers and not having to I don't know who to pick because there aren't many guys left. There's still a ton of guys left. Because there goes Fairbanks. It could be part of the closing situation. Should be part of the closing situation. I just don't know how much. Anderson being out, we would think would clear things up. I don't think it does necessarily. So, so right now, my reserve list has got Klenek on it. It's also got 3 pitchers. So there goes Kiki. Potentially going to be leading off, I guess, in Boston. That seems weird. I don't know that lasts very long. So interested to see who's going to make it back to me here. I got lots of options. Omar Navarez, he was going to be a catcher target later, so that's a good pick as well. I definitely am going to be going hitter hard here the next few rounds, or at least most of the rest of the draft. So I need a catcher. I still technically need 2 outfielders, but I can move my first baseman to the outfield. Chaz Chisholm. Oh, I was hoping to sneak him in one of the last few rounds. So that hype train is alive and well, which it should be. Is he going to strike out 30% of the time, though? And will they let him hit high up in lineup if he does that? I don't know. I mean, I think he will strike out a lot, but will they continue to let him just hit high up in the lineup knowing that he's going to strike out probably 30% of the time? That's the question. So we'll see. So there's definitely one guy I really want here, or that I will take. I don't necessarily know that I really want him, but because I mean we are in the 25th round. Eduardo Escobar goes. Elias Diaz goes. Dustin May goes. Joey Votto goes. And now it's up to me. All right. So now I'm just going to kind of look and see what I want to do here. I've got a guy that I think I'm going to take here. But I'm looking at somebody else real quick. He's really struggling. Not that I think he'll be bad, but all right. I'll take Jonathan Scope. Add a little power. So I need to move Hunter Dozier to the outfield. Move Moustakas back over to first, and then Scope becomes my MI. All right. So where is my team? Hey, that's what Royal Lab already did for me. Unless I just put him on the wrong team. Make sure I didn't. All right. Oh, no, I didn't put him in at all. There we go. So Dozier goes to my outfield. Glennick has got to go out there. Moustakas goes up to first. Scope goes to second. All right, now. So there goes Carlos Santana. He could have been an option for me. And then Justin Upton, who could have been an option for me as well. David Dahl. Dude, Colin, you got to stop with David Dahl. If Fairbanks is a much cheaper version of Devin Williams, no, but he might return more value. Okay, so I got to find Dahl. He's so far low on my sheet. This Colin keeps drafting him, thinking that's going to happen again. Oh, that was a good pick by Colin, though. He made up for it. All right, so Melanson, then India. I like that India pick. That might end up looking pretty smart. He's going to have second and third. Even though I don't think he's like a world beater or like league winner or anything, I think he's going to play a lot. He's going to have double eligibility late, so that's nice. Find Dolis. There he is. All right, Dolis. That was a good pickup by him. By Colin. Come on. All right. So Avisail Garcia. That's a good pick. All right, so right now, okay, so right now, we are at the point where I still need an outfielder and I need a catcher. I also need 3 reserve players. Oh, you got both. Dahl is not batting second all year because he's not playing all year. You got both Romano and Elise. That's an elite pairing. I do like that. So I like it even more now. Gallegos just went. All right. So now I'm looking at who I want to take. It's probably going to be a hitter. I probably need an outfielder. But there's so many outfielders still available that I like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a shot on Josh Rojas. He's been hot this spring. I think he's got that second base job. He's going to go to my reserve list just in case he does have this huge breakout that I was kind of on last year. It never happened. If he does, then he's a really nice bargain right there. And if he doesn't, then oh well. Sam Hilliard, that would have been a guy I would have thought about next round. So now I got 2 reserve spots left. An outfielder. There goes Alex Kirilloff. I took Kirilloff yesterday, so I wasn't really likely going to take him here. Just because I knew that was going to be an issue for me. Okay. Or because I've already got 1 stash in Kalenic. But hold on. I missed somebody. I missed a few people. All right, draft board. Got to fix my draft board. I missed Mejia. Francisco Mejia. So that was me, Rojas, then Mejia on draft. Mejia. Where's Mejia? Okay. Mejia. Then Hilliard. Then David Fletcher. Then Alex Kirilloff. Still so many outfielders. Like I'm not. Oh, Dylan Cease. That's a good pick. Cease. All right. Akil Baddoo. I don't know that he's playing a ton. I don't know why he's not showing up on my draft software either. But he's going to be on the team because he's Rule 5, so he has to be. Why is he not showing up? I'm pretty sure I added him to the system. Okay, so I'm just going to have to give him someone random that won't be drafted and then add him in later. No. There we go. That'll work. No one's going to draft that guy. All right, Garrett Crochet. Is Crochet making the team? I don't know that he is. Let's see. Let's see what Roster Resource says. Does Roster Resource think he's making the team? He might. Maybe middle reliever. What have I done? I actually really like my team. Gave me the overall title with the tall pick. Oh, I'll be interested to see what the RotoWire software says since I'm using Rotolab. Let's see, is Crochet? It looks like Crochet's going to make the team as kind of a middle reliever. Probably a multi-inning guy. Probably not a bad pick. Oh, Rotolab. I'm using Rotolab too. It's definitely not giving you overall nothing. It still has you in first though, which is good for you. But there's still a lot of draft to go. Ooh, Wander Franco. It's not a bad stash. I just don't know when Franco's up. That's the hard part. He should already be up. just because he is good. It would make your team better. But in a 12-teamer, stash a guy that we don't know if he's going to be up till, I don't know, June, July, August. Who knows? So, yeah, no, Dahl's not going to play all 162 games. I would be surprised if Dahl played 62 games because he rarely does. So, plus, he's no longer in Colorado. He's already been injured once this year. All right, Kiner Falefa. I got into the biggest argument I've had this season on a player with Paul on Kiner Falefa. It's killer. Like, I don't understand. Hater. I am a hater on David Dahl, as I should be. I mean, I love the raw talent. You can turn off injuries, and I'd be very interested, but you can't turn off injuries. That's just not how it works. All right, so there's one guy that is still on the board. Definitely should not still be on the board. Well, there's more than one guy that's on the board that should definitely not still be on the board. But one guy who particularly fits my team fairly well. Well, maybe not fits my team very well, but trying to look and see if there's somebody else I want to add. Just kind of looking at where my team fits here. Da, da. Oh, there goes Griffin Canning. It's a guy that I got a lot of shares of early. I have not been getting as many shares of lately. Oh, I forgot to add VR. Do that first, and then I'll add Canning. Canning struggled some in spring, so Logan Webb's a good pick. I like that. Soto. Send Paul the screenshot, please. Screenshot of what? Oh, look. Okay, hold on. I got people. I gotta find Webb, and then I gotta find Stripling. Where's Stripling? There he is. Okay. All right. So I need to look at who. Oh, you know what? I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to add me some Josh Naylor. Boom. There's my last outfielder. That'll help a little bit. So now I have a catcher spot and 2 reserve spots. Likely I could do a pitcher and a hitter. I could do 2 hitters for my 2 reserve spots. So a little bit open. Kiner Falefa screenshot. I like your boy pick. You're going to start him week 1. I might start him week 1. I got to check who the Tigers are playing. Don't know off the top of my head. I feel like they've got a good matchup early on. Okay, so there goes Maikel Franco, and then there goes Paul DeJong. Those are 2 really good picks, really good value picks right there. Both should have probably been – DeJong especially should have been gone a while ago. But even there's still one guy on my board who is a massive value right now. It doesn't necessarily fit my team. Oh, Yadier Molina, that could have been the guy I went with. If he makes it back around to me, he will be mine. But I don't know that he will. All right, so Reyes, it's a good gamble, I think, because you can drop him if he isn't getting saves. And then Syndergaard, I don't know when he's going to be ready. Likely out till August. I mean, maybe a little bit Sinner. I know he's been throwing hard and stuff, but still not rostering a guy like that. And For a second there, I thought Colin picked my guy, but he hasn't picked yet. It's the Indians. Yes, I will probably. I'll have to look at the rest of my team and see if that's who I want to roll out, but that's likely I will roll out against the Indians. That's not a bad start. So, Elvis Andrus, that's a good pick by Colin. Not who I would have, who I was looking at. Colin is putting together a good team and currently still in first place according to Rotolab. Now, if I plugged in my projections, obviously I would be in first place, but I think it's silly to plug in your own projections and be like, look, I won my draft. Well, if you're using your projections, and you should win your draft, right? That's not how it's supposed to work. I like using other people's projections to see how I did in a draft, not my own. All right, so we are in round 28, which means I have 3 more picks to go. So if this guy makes it to me, I'm going to be pretty stoked. A little surprised he fell all this way. Antone, that was not who it was. But I like that gamble, even though he's not in the rotation. I'm just kind of looking and see if there's someone else I'm missing. There goes Jose Alvarado. Okay. So Alvarado was not the guy I was looking at either. All right, so the guy I was talking about is Yuli Gurriel. Doesn't necessarily fit my team super well, but just a very good value at this point, and I'm going to take that value. Because it's too good to pass up right here. So, yeah, I like that. And then Bumgarner goes. Dalton Jeffries goes. I've got a lot of Jeffrey shares in draft and holds. When he was really, really cheap. There goes Aguilar. Lorenzo Cain. That could have been my next pick. But he may start the year on the IL too, which would be difficult to roster. Not too difficult, but somewhat difficult. So right now I'm just kind of looking and seeing what player fits my last bench spot, and then what catcher I want to take. Okay, so there goes Desclafani. And there goes Mitch Keller. Well, I like both guys, but at the same time, there's going to be a lot of starters. Did Jeffries make the rotation? I believe he's going to be the 5th starter. I don't know that they've announced that yet, but it seems like he's going to be the 5th starter, which means AJ Puck is not in the rotation, as far as I know. So Roster Resource has him as the 5th starter. I don't know if that's been announced or not. It looks like Puck going down to the minors. It's a bit surprising. But, the A's, they like playing service time games, and they'll fuck around with people. They don't care. Ryan Jeffers, that's a good second catcher. So just kind of looking at different guys. I'm thinking the same for me facing Bieber, but the Indians should do pretty good against them. Yeah. So probably not Boyd, if he's going to go to the Indians and Bieber, probably not in line for a win, but strikeout should still be there, and the Indians lineup doesn't scare me a ton. So if you're going to sit him against the Indians, you probably shouldn't have drafted him. Oh, that's okay. So there goes Carson Kelly. That's a good pick this late. And Corey Polanco. All right, so I'm just kind of looking up. Did I put Polanco in there? No, I said Carson Kelly. Oh, shit, I fucked up my draft. Oh, I missed Deekman. That's the problem. Deekman, then Carson Kelly, then Polanco. Okay. So I'm just kind of looking at what I want to do here with this next pick. Brandon Belt. I don't know. Is he going to be ready for opening day? I don't know. All right. So now I've got to just kind of debate what I want to take here with this last pick. There's one guy who I don't have very many shares of. It's kind of sticking out to me. And then there's another guy who I don't have many shares of who's also sticking out to me. So I'm going to take one of the two, depending on if one or both makes it to me. But I just want to kind of see what each are doing in spring right now. I think one of them's hitting particularly well. Oh, no, he's not. Even though, there goes Brad Keller. There goes AJ Puck. The guy who took him's all like, why are you talking about him? There goes Chris Sale. Just can't hold on to Chris Sale for as long as he's going to be out. Even though, definitely. Okay, so now it's on me. I'm debating between Adam Duvall and Tyler O'Neill. Duvall hit a monster homer today. That's why I thought he was doing better. O'Neill is having a monster spring. I'm going to go with O'Neill just because I've liked him in the past, and I think he's got a pretty good path to playing time right now. So now it's just catchers. I can only take catchers. So I probably should have looked and saw – I definitely should have looked and seen, oh, all the guys on the back end already have their second catcher. So I didn't have to worry about whether or not he would or a catcher would make it back to me. So I can pretty much have my pick of the catchers remaining is my thinking. So let's put O'Neill on my team. There goes Dubon. Not a Dubon guy. I think a lot of people are. So. All right. So we're wrapping up here pretty quick. Once I'm done, or once the entire draft is done, I'll go through and kind of talk it out. So right now, Rotolab has Colin as the best team. I like his team. Had Schluth as the second best team. I'm looking at Schluth's team. I like Schluth's team. Okay, so and then as me as the third best team. So we'll see if me taking my second catcher changes that at all. I don't know that it will, but I don't really care. I still like my team. I think it's a very competitive team. Do I like it as much as my team yesterday? I don't. That's okay. Only discuss the top team. If you want to jump into the stream, we can discuss your team together. And I can, let's see, I can send you a link for that on Twitter. But let's see. Da-da-da. All right. I don't know if you're streaming yourself or not. All right, I send you the link. There you go. All right, so now I got to catch up. So Renfro was definitely someone who was an option for me. But I just have no Tyler O'Neill shares, and I really I need to, before I add Renfro, I need to add. All right, so it went Victor Reyes and Yimi Garcia. Victor Reyes, Yimi Garcia. All right, then Logan Allen. I should be more in on Allen than I have been, but I liked him as a prospect. Oh, it's on me. Oh, I need to figure out what catcher I'm taking. Probably going to take Jan Gomes here. Took Jan Gomes as my second catcher yesterday. Is there somebody else that makes sense? Nope, Jan Gomes it is. All right. All right, so I went Logan Allen, then Duvall, the aforementioned Duvall. Quintana, who has been very good. Then Jan Gomes. Then Ha-Seong Kim, who I like, but a little worried about how he's going to fare early on. Then Tom Murphy, fake player. Where's Mr. Murphy? Fab tonight will be nuts. Well, I'm not going to be running. Oh, Fab just in general. Yes, I got to go teach Danielle how to set her Fab, which I'll be doing right after this because that runs in a few hours. Hey there, Colin. How you doing?
Hey, what's up, man?
So I like your team. I'm assuming you like your team.
Yeah, hold on. I'm tweeting out something. I'm talking shit to this guy that I just beat in his draft.
I'm assuming I'm that guy. So, all right. So we're finishing up here. Corey Dickerson goes. That's a good pick, actually.
Leadoff hitter? Absolutely.
Yeah. Dobnak's a guy I like. And a 12 team, it's hard to roster Dobnak, but I do like Dobnak. All right. So finishing out with the last 3 picks, and then we'll see what Rotolab says. I'm pretty sure they've got you first still, and I don't think that's going to change.
I'll continue sending in their check.
Oh, no. It has me first.
Bullshit.
It does.
It's just your computer. Restart your computer.
Restart my computer. But I mean, that can change the last 3 picks, if my ratios drop or your ratios go up because of it.
No, you still had a starter to get, so that's why it jumped you so much.
Yeah. So I don't like my team quite as much as I did yesterday.
See, I hated my team yesterday. That room was just absolutely brutal.
I was really lucky. There goes Chad Green. And then Victor Carantini.
To back up Austin Nola. Smart.
Yeah. And then we'll see. What does this guy need? Does he need a second catcher? No, he doesn't. So you go any direction here.
So I actually have to do a shout out to Randy. He helped me with pretty much the first 15 picks because I played 18 holes this morning. I went to eat, and then I was actually en route to my house whenever the draft started. So he hopped on. I added him as a co-owner. He hopped on. We were on a phone call pretty much for the first half of the draft, and he was able to help me out. So I appreciate it, Randy.
Yeah, Randy's a good guy. He put together a good team yesterday too. Okay, so Hauser was the last guy. I like Hauser too. Just not at 12 is quite as much, but all right. So there's the draft. So I'll kind of I'll rotate the board up to the top so you guys can, those of you who are still watching, can kind of see the first 10 picks right there. You both suck, Randy says. Yeah, Dobnak does look really good, but he doesn't have a rotation spot. That might actually benefit him because he could be the follower to Jay Ha, who I think they should limit, to 2 times through the order. So maybe he gets some sneak wins that way. I do like Dobnak quite a bit. All right, so I started off in my first round. I took Trey Turner. I didn't think he'd be there at 8, but as the draft fell, I went, okay, I'm going to have a shot between Turner and Trout. And was pretty stoked just with either of those, but really stoked when Turner fell to me. You started off Bieber Freeman. I really liked that start. Was that the plan kind of coming in that you're going to take best starting pitcher and then, your best hitter on your board, or did you just fall that way?
No, I absolutely hated the start. I got sniped. I was going J-Ram, like no matter what.
Okay.
I really wanted J-Ram. And I don't want Story because I already have another share Story. Actually, Team 12's start is what I have Story in. Story Harper.
Oh, yeah. In your first online championship, right?
Yeah. So Bieber was kind of just the next best guy, really. After J-Ram, I was considering Harper. And then Freeman, I wasn't too stoked to take him. I considered Giolito, who you ended up taking. I thought about going pocket aces. But based on my draft yesterday, I think I was a little scared about average, and I talked about that during my whole stream. I didn't have a guy besides Acuna that hit over 280 or was projected to hit over 280, and I felt like I was chasing that the whole draft. Whereas in this one, I got two of the pretty much the same guys in Freeman and Rendon to build that base to where I can make some risks a little bit later.
Yeah, I got Freeman in the second round yesterday, and so I was able to start Trout Freeman.
Yeah.
That's
Perfect.
It's like it gave me such a good base to work with. I could take the Gallos, I could take the Margos, I could take guys who might have average issues, because I got 2 guys that I can just pencil in 300 with power. So I really like that start. I went Giolito and then Scherzer in the second and third round. I mean, it's not pocket aces because it's not the first 2 rounds, but it feels like pocket aces.
It feels like it,
I mean, I've got Giolito as my number 4 starter, and then Scherzer is my number 8 starter. So,
I'm surprised you took Scherzer over both Buehler and Flaherty.
I have Scherzer ranked above both of them.
All right.
And I have a lot of shares of both of those guys already. I don't have many shares of Scherzer.
I can get that.
Scherzer was a guy who was kind of fading early on, but as we see him in spring just be great, I started moving him back up. I think people burying Max Scherzer are just, I think, a little bit early on that. So,
do you hate your draft just a little bit because Paul has Trey Turner and Max Scherzer based on the draft last night?
I didn't even remember that. I don't.
Because you were in the same position as you were last night. You had an option between Trey Turner and Mike Trout. They both were one of the 2 was going to fall to you. Yeah. And then Paul went Trey, and then you got Trout, and then this is just reversed. So.
No, I didn't even think about it, and I do not like the rest of Paul's draft. I like Paul's start yesterday, but I did not like and Rotolab and the Fantasy Pros ranks do not like Paul's draft at all. So, but that's okay. It's good because we're gonna make a bet on that draft, and I should easily crush him, probably crush the whole league, but. We'll see. You
don't want to make a bet with the person that you're trying to beat. It's literally my league.
I mean, I'll make a bet with you, but I do think I've got a much better team, and you just said you don't like your team.
It doesn't matter. I can make do with what I have, and I can make it better throughout the year.
Okay. Well, what do you want the bet to be?
I don't care. Money's not an issue. You know that.
Well, no, it should be something embarrassing.
Embarrassing. Okay.
Yeah. I don't. Money's not the issue either.
I'm not easily embarrassed. Do you see my hair? I've been wearing a golf hat all day, and it looks like it.
Is this a meeting for addicts? Have you guys admitted you have a problem?
I thought this was a private line.
It's not, unfortunately. So
what am I paying you for then?
I don't know. I mean, do you want to do? Twitter avatar bet? Do you want to do a Roto-Rare t-shirt type bet? So I'll make you wear a Justin Mason t-shirt and post that shit.
I don't have as much followers, so it's just not.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's always a little bit more high risk for me because I have more followers. But
we'll come up with something. We'll come up with something. Yeah.
Well, we'll probably tie both of these drafts together.
Okay, that's fine.
All right. So then you went Flaherty, Rendon. I love that. I was just praying that Rendon made it back to me. I figured he wasn't going to when I took Scherzer, but I have seen him drop to the 4th round a fair amount of these 12s. And I knew I'd get a Rosarena if I didn't get Rendon. So it was kind of a consolation prize. But in Rendon, again, the 30 home runs, good average. I really like the start for you.
Yeah, so Freeman and Rendon are pretty much the same type of player in my eyes. And establishing that average, which is something I didn't do last night, which I regretted, was something I was very excited about. But the Flaherty pick was very tilting, and I even texted you whenever it happened, only because the guy that took Walker Buehler was auto-drafted Walker Buehler. So I'll never know if he was actually intending on drafting Walker Buehler.
He was in the comment section of my stream the whole time. So I think he meant to do that. And if he pops up and says, that he was that he didn't mean to do it, I'll say it, but I think he did. I think he meant to. He had guys in his queue, and he was letting the time go and just taking his time.
Seeing that A just made it a little bit more worse, though.
It hurts. Yeah, I really liked his start too. He started Yelich, Darvish, Snell.
Yeah,
and then Abreu in the 4th. Yeah. All right, then. So I mentioned I took a Rosarena. I took Eugenio Suarez in the 5th when Arenado didn't make it back to me. Rendon didn't make it back to me in the 4th. Devers didn't make it back to me. I was like, okay, I want Suarez. I have not gotten a lot of shares of him. People have been really punching him up their draft boards. So I actually can check and see how much Suarez I have. This is only my 2nd NFBC share. I don't know if I have him in other leagues too. So
while you're checking on that, I was actually about to pass on Rendon in round 4. I was thinking Whit Merrifield because I got out of the first 3 rounds without any speed. I was considering Merrifield, and I was considering Tim Anderson. And Tim Anderson almost made it all the way back.
He wouldn't have made it back.
Okay, well, that's good to know. But I went with Rendon because, like I said, I wanted that to establish that average base for myself. And then I knew going forward I was going to have to address speed.
Yeah, if Anderson is a guy that I don't think I have any shares of, I might have I'm going to look. Let's see. Anderson. No, I don't have any shares of Tim Anderson, and I wanted to get a share here. And so now my only chance is in the main event. And I was like, even though I already had Trey Turner, I was like, fuck it, I'll go get Anderson. He's making a lot more contact. Colette was saying on the podcast today this spring, which is really exciting for a guy who if he's going to maintain that average, he needs to make more contact. And so the fact that he's doing it in spring is a really good sign. Had he made it to me and he made it right before my pick, he would have been mine. I would have let Suarez go. So you weren't going to get him anyways. Talk to me about your next turn because I see the upside in it.
Okay.
It's also a little bit scary, right? Okay. So you went Yordan Alvarez. He's going to be your UT. I don't think he's going to play much outfield this year, even though the Astros say he might. And then Austin Meadows. I love Meadows. Alvarez scares the crap out of me. I know the upside's elite. If he plays 150 games, he's probably 2nd round value.
Mm-hmm. Can I scare you even more?
Yeah.
Do you know how many drafts I have?
5.
I have them in all 5.
Yeah. See, that's just scary to me. There's no way.
So, I mean, I'm sold. I was burned in 19 whenever he came up. I didn't get any shares. I didn't spend any fab on him because I wasn't a believer. Completely fooled me, obviously. Last year was just pretty much a lost year for him. And I haven't done my research, but I don't know if he played very much at all, if at all, last year.
He, I think, played 2 games.
Okay, so he played 2 games. He basically had a whole year off. So he's coming back from injury, but basically coming back off of that monster season that he had in 2019. back in last year, whenever we thought there was going to be 162 games, this is where he was going, if not before that. He was going probably before that. I don't mind locking up my UT spot. I don't either. Yeah. So that didn't even go into factor for me. I'm getting a top 15 or so hitter at the end of the fifth round. And that's how I look at it. I knew I needed some power because Rendon and Freeman are good in power, but I know I have to go for speed now. So I'm going to have to get some power as well as some speed later. So that's why I'm a huge fan of Alvarez. Obviously, this is the first build where I have those two average guys that kind of help out, but even Alvarez isn't a detriment in average.
No. I mean, all the projection systems over on Fangraphs have him hitting 280 to 275-ish, 120 games, anywhere between 28 and 35 home runs with those 120 games. Like that, if he plays 150 for you...
Oh, that's gold.
I think you probably win the league.
And I win the bet that we're going to make as well.
Yeah, so, and maybe you don't win the league necessarily because of that, but it definitely gives you a huge leg up. So
yeah, definitely.
I understand the pick. I have not been able to pull the trigger at all. No Alvarez is on my shares. So
I am steady pulling the trigger on Alvarez.
I'll be interested to see if you do it, because you got the main event on Wednesday night, right?
Yeah, I think I'm doing it at the same time as you.
Exact same time, different.
Central. Different.
Yeah,
league.
Different league, but same time. So I'll be interested to see where you go. Are you going to be live streaming that too?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, so and I'll be live streaming mine as well. So you can watch either of our streams. All right, so then let's see.
Well, hold on. Let me talk about Meadows too, because I just kind of ranted and raved about Alvarez. Meadows is, I mean, I was in on him in I believe it was 19, whenever he kind of broke out last year, coming back, and he's a guy that I knew would chip in some steals, and that's what I was looking for. So in that round, I was looking for a guy that could give me some steals, and if you look at the guys that went after him, Kevin Biggio, no thanks. Ketel Marte, I have, I think, 3 shares of him already. I was considering him, but not really, because I don't have any Meadows yet. And then George Springer is going to miss a little bit of time, which I wasn't necessarily scared of, but I wanted to lock in some speed. And then the other guys that went after that, like Teoscar, I'm not going to pay that price for him. So I felt like he probably wasn't going to make it back, and I wanted to get some speed with that pick.
That's fair. All right. Then let's see. Moving on, I took the next 2 rounds. I took Trevor Rosenthal, Kyle Hendricks. There's a huge closer run in the 5th, 6th rounds. It went Hendricks, Hader, Chapman in 3 straight picks at the beginning of the 5th. Then Diaz goes. Then Iglesias goes in the beginning of the 6th. And I went, okay, I'm going to jump into the closer run. I'm going to take my 4th closer off the board as the number, I think, 6 closer off the board in Trevor Rosenthal. Stoked on that. And then Kyle Hendricks, who was kind of my backup if Rosenthal went, was still there.
Yep.
And I mean, yes, I already have Giolito and Scherzer, but nothing wrong with adding Kyle Hendricks as your number 3, especially in a 12-teamer. So I love that turn. You went for your next 2 picks. You went Gurriel, Strasburg. I like the Gurriel pick. I haven't been getting a lot of Gurriel, but I do like the Gurriel pick. The Strasburg pick petrifies the fuck out of me. I know the talent is there.
Mm-hmm.
I worry about what his workload to me. He's got a ruptured tendon in his calf that apparently he does not need. That's just scary as fuck. I don't care. I don't care who you are. That is petrifying. And Billy in the chat says he's got 23 years of sobriety tomorrow. Congratulations, Billy.
That's congrats, amazing, man.
I got 16 years next month. So that's awesome. But yeah, no, talk to me about Strasburg specifically, but then also Gurriel.
So Strasburg, I felt was worth the gamble. ADP around 84, 85, and we're talking about, what is that? 106, 110 or so. SP3 too. So if I'm not really counting on him to be Strasburg at this point in the draft. And that was a huge selling point for me. The next guys that went, Plesac, Paddock, Greinke, Wheeler. I was considering Sonny Gray, but I already have a share, and he's kind of a little banged up as well. But hey, if you have a torn muscle and you don't even need it, that's a good selling point for me. I mean, this guy's a baller.
I mean, that's like old school. Rub some dirt on the injury,
Right?
keep going, right? But that's still.
It is scary.
It's
I'll say that. But
a guy who had off-season carpal tunnel surgery, has had back, shoulder, elbow issues throughout his career, has rarely been able to pitch a full season without hitting the IL at some point. Now you got a ruptured tendon in the calf like that. That just he's off my board is what it is, you know?
Okay, so everything you just said is correct, but he's been going as an SP2 for those years that he's had all these issues.
Yeah.
I got him as SP3, and that's the only reason why I pulled the trigger on it, honestly.
It's fair. Did you talk about Gurriel?
No. Elite offense. I think he's slotted to hit at the bottom of the order right now, but that's going to change. It's going to change rather quickly. I just love the talent, and he doesn't hurt me in average. He's another kind of pillow, if you'll say, that I made for a certain someone that we'll touch on in a little bit. But I kept that in mind. After I started Freeman Rendon, I pretty much knew I was going to get that guy. I was going to go after him. So I had to make sure that pillow was nice and fluffy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that he's a great pillow because I do think he's going to like 270, but 270 is still fine.
270 whenever we're talking about Gallo is
yeah, exactly. He's projected to hit 6 right now. I don't know how long he stays there.
It won't last very long.
I think him and Teoscar will flip flop at some point.
Teoscar or Biggio. There's just a couple of guys. There's a couple guys that can go up there.
Biggio's projected at 7th. So
so they've changed that, and then Springer's going to miss possibly the first couple games.
Yeah, I think that'll be the first move up. Once Springer comes back, he'll be at 6, and then. But like I said, I think he could flip flop and hit 4th with Teoscar going down.
Yeah, that's a good call. Definitely.
Because I mean, I love Teoscar, but he shouldn't be in 4th in this lineup.
Yeah.
All right. So then I pulled the trigger on Yoan Moncada.
I was considering him and Gurriel. Those are the two that me and Randy were talking about at the time, actually.
Yeah, so Moncada is just a guy I just haven't gotten a lot of shares of, and so I wanted a share. He's looked good in spring. He's stolen a base. He's hit a home run, hitting for average.
Coming off a lost season with COVID.
So
he was going to lock up my corner infielder, so I couldn't take him. That's why I went Gurriel.
That was the dilemma for me because he did lock up my corner infield.
But you have Suarez, and Suarez is going to try to gain eligibility.
He will. I think he will gain eligibility at shortstop. Who knows how long that'll last for? But
maybe the manager plays fantasy and needs that MI eligibility, maybe. So he'll just do 10 games.
Yeah, I've got a lot of flexibility on the team tonight. And then I hit Blackman on the way back. Batting average was a little bit shaky. He's a leadoff hitter, so runs. I mean, he's a guy who's. I mean, I think has scored like at least 100 runs in like every season the last like 4 years. I have no
qualms about Blackman, especially for your build.
Yeah, so then you went Javi Baez and Andres Jimenez. I was a little pissed on the Jimenez one
because you got him last night, though.
Yeah, I did. I popped on him early last night to make sure I got him because I needed the speed. You grabbed him. Love the Jimenez. Baez, I think it's a good bet for a bounce back. Like, I don't think he's ever going to be the second round talent that we saw again necessarily because I don't know how much he's going to run. But in 9th round, there's no harm in Javi Baez.
No, and that's one of the reasons why I took him is because it's the 9th round. And even though I am a Dansby stan, I'm not taking Dansby over Javi Baez. And Dansby went around before him. So Javi was just falling a little bit too far. Obviously, he's not huge on batting average, but he's going to be a chip-in steals guy, so 10 to 15. Same thing with Meadows. And that's kind of what I was looking for at that point in the draft. So then I got Jimenez, which Randy is the guy that kind of was the leading guy on the train on that. Going to play second base, middle infield. If he doesn't hit, take a look at the bottom of the draft board. I got, him and Lux. So hopefully one of the two hit. And then we just kind of go from there. But I needed some steals, and these are the kind of guys that you have to take whenever you miss steals at the top of the draft.
Yeah, I think Jimenez is going to be just fine. I've got lots of shares of Jimenez. Let's see. Jimenez. I got 3 NFBC shares. I'm pretty sure I got them in Tout, and I'm pretty sure I got them in Barbs. So, though a lot of my NFBC shares were early. Though I got them last night. It's not showing up on Oh, that's because that's Josh Bell. So yeah, 3. I got him in the tag team. I got him in the online, and then I got him in another NFBC league. All right, so let's see. Then next for me, I took Stanton. I got sniped on Cruz in. He went in the 7th. I was hoping to get him in the 8th. JD Martinez went, and so I was like, well, who's my UT only player? It's Stanton. You and I are both in agreement. Like, we don't care about locking up our UT spot.
Nope.
If you're getting a premium talent, I'm not going to lock it up with Chris Davis.
No, definitely. Even though he's in Texas.
Yeah, but there are 5 guys that I think, 6 guys are worthy of the UT lockup. That's Alvarez, who you took, Cruz, who I've taken a bunch this year, JD Martinez, who I've taken a bunch this year, Stanton, Fran Miller, and Otani. Those are the guys I'm willing to do that with. And Stanton's
pretty much all the UT only guys, but
there are definitely other ones. Miggy Cabrera. I had a whole list at one point, but I don't know where they're at right now. But then took Mike Moustakas on the way around. He's got first and second base eligibility. He's going to gain third base eligibility in season. Gave me a little bit of flexibility because I didn't have a first or second baseman at that point. So wanted a guy who could play both. Added some power to my team. Love Mike Moustakas. I know he's struggling a little bit in spring, but I'm not worried about him at all.
Yeah, I'm not either. You have a nice average base, even though you got Suarez. You needed some power, and that's what you get with Stanton and Moustakas. So adding those two with Blackman, with Trey Turner, with Randy Arozarena, you knew your steals were good. You knew your average was okay. And Stanton and Moustakas aren't going to hurt you like the guy that I took at this turn. But they are going to provide some power for you for sure.
But you do have the pillows, right? You got Freddie Freeman, you got Anthony Rendon, even Gurriel is going to help him power. Like, I think Meadows a hit for a decent average.
Yep. Left him up, baby.
So you were able to take Joey Gallo, which you did in the 12th round. You also took Sixto Sanchez in the 11th. So I mean, you can talk about Gallo. We know how much you love him. I'm sure you were pissed I sniped him on you last night.
With the way my team was going last night, like I couldn't even fathom taking Gallo. So you're more than welcome to take him last night. But yeah, no, once it started Freeman and Rendon, I was like, okay, this smells like Gallo. So I was planning on that after I addressed some speed. And then with Sixto as my SP4, even if I have to rely on him as my SP3 with Strasburg's kind of iffy injury history, then I'm perfectly fine with that. And, just based on everything that we saw last year and the small sample size, I'm excited. I'm excited to see Sixto this year. And I hope he succeeds, obviously, because I draft him, but also because he's a really fun player to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I think I said this because someone is asking about the Sixto pick when you made it. They let him go deep into games last year.
Yeah, they did.
So, I don't think, I think there's some concerns, about his innings workload, because these guys dealt with injuries. Miami lets their guys go. And one of the reasons why I took a Miami guy later was, one, I wanted a share of him, and 2, I do think they're just going to let their starters go and worry about things as they kind of go down the season. Maybe starts get skipped, but hopefully you have enough knowledge about that to rotate a different guy in when that happens. All right, so then when I took Moustakas, I had 2 starting pitchers on my board, kind of at the top of my board. I was like, well, hopefully one of them makes it back around to me. It was Pablo Lopez who went with the next pick, and then it was also Patrick Corbin. So Corbin comes back around. I grab him as my number 4 starter. I think Corbin's going to have a huge bounce back year this year. So I love that. The guy who took Walker Buehler said he had Walker Buehler in his queue. So you weren't getting Buehler if he hadn't timed out. He was going to take it either way. So
fine. Damn it. He just rubbed it in by doing the auto pick.
Yeah. He put you on tilt a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit.
So then it comes around to me in the 13th round, and I'm just doing some quick math here, and that's why, because though, I mean, I could do this in my head.
I can never do this part in my head.
It was pick 152.
Yeah, I can't figure out picks on the fly. I'm right there with you.
152, and Wilson Contreras is still on the board. In the OCs, he has not gone below 145 in the last, I think, month.
Yeah.
And I'm not a big fan of taking catchers somewhat early. Like I don't in a 12-teamer, unless I end up with Real Muto at some sort of discount. Like I'm just not going to take a catcher in the top 150. But Wilson Contreras at 152 just felt like too good of a deal to pass up, especially with a huge drop off after that. I don't have any other shares of him, so I was like, all right, screw it, I'll take Wilson Contreras.
Yeah, I agree. We were actually discussing it in round 11. I don't know if you were watching this unfold as well, but Salvador Perez kept falling.
Yeah.
And that's probably, I think, 50 or 60 picks past his ADP right there where he was taken. And we were like, this might be a time to actually consider him. And I'm like, no, I don't take a catcher early. But then we saw that. So, yeah, Wilson Contreras, I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm right there with you, though. I don't take catchers early usually. Last night I did a Real Muto build, and maybe I can just blame it on that and say, hey, look, I took a catcher early. That's why it fell apart. But, yeah, no, I'm usually perfectly fine with post-20 round getting my two catchers and just kind of streaming from there on out. But if you can scoop up the value like you did with Contreras or like Team 3 did with Salvador Perez, then that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, Sal Perez's max pick was 121 in the last 2 weeks in online championships.
Yep, so that was just reset.
Yeah, he got him at 122. So just pushed down a little bit, but still that's –
yeah.
I mean, his ADP's been 84.
Yep.
So to get him 40 picks after the ADP. So then let's see, you wrap around – you take Jordan Romano. You also get Dolis later, so you kind of just locked up Toronto saves, which I like. And then you took Dylan Carlson. Carlson's a guy I haven't been in on very much. I have a few shares here and there, but talk about Romano and Carlson.
So I didn't pick any of the closers. And actually, interesting enough, I came into this draft wanting to lock up one of the top 5 guys because I usually don't. And then that run happened that you mentioned a little bit earlier where the top 4 guys went and I was actually sniped on the last 4, and that was Edwin Diaz. So I had to change on the fly. And then I'm back right in my wheelhouse. Like I'm perfectly fine with getting these mid-round closer kind of flyer type guys. But whenever you're talking about Jordan Romano, the guy I got the 2 rounds after that, and Amir Garrett,
and then Craig Kimbrell the round after that.
Yeah, and Kimbrell wasn't even in consideration, but he was still there. So Romano, I think, is still kind of just pushed down on the ADP board that maybe people aren't going down far enough to find him. So I was able to wait until round 13 because if you think Toronto closer, he's not really locked in. But I do remember, I think it was in one of Beat Paul's drafts. I think he went in round 8 or round 9 or maybe round 10. And I can't get behind that. I can't get behind that. But in round 13, I'm perfectly fine with throwing a flyer. Amir Garrett in round 15, he's been lighting up spring. Lucas Sims is just now coming back from injury. I think he's going to hold on to that job. And then Craig Kimbrell was not a part of the plan, but I still saw him on the board. And so I was like, if I take him here, I don't have to take another closer. I don't have to play the nearest, the Archie Bradley, the guy that you took, Rafael Marantero, who I'm absolutely terrified of because I have him in one. But yeah, that's why I went that way. And then to touch on Carlson real quick, Harrison Bader's out to start the season. He has a guaranteed spot, high level prospect. He's been going a lot earlier than this position. And I was perfectly fine with taking him and slotting him in as my last outfielder, but I knew that I needed to keep that in mind whenever I was drafting later on to get a couple guys that I could fill in for possibly him or Gallo or someone else.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind at all. I'm not a big Carlson guy, but I think this was a fair price for him. And then, yeah, you locked up 3 guys who should be getting some saves. Who knows? Kimbrell is like the locked-in guy, I think. There's just nobody else right there, especially with Wick being hurt right now. Though he has been awful. So
but Kimbrell is Kimbrell, so
yeah, Kimbrell's Kimbrell. Amir Garrett, the Reds said today that they're not going to name a closer, that all 3 guys could get saves, but Doolittle's been atrocious. Sims is still working his way back from injury. Garrett's been fantastic. He's been absolute filthy. I want to say that Jason's on the pod. He struck out every batter he's faced.
Yes.
Yeah, so I like that a lot. I did take Montero. A little bit scary for me, but I think he's locked in at least to start the season.
But he's not your first closer.
He's not my first closer, and I drafted other guys too.
Yeah.
So I took Klenek in 15. I just was not getting sniped on him. Got sniped last night by Paul. Really pissed me off. Been sniped a few times on him. Just got him, threw him in my in my reserve. Then I took Manny Margot.
You skipped over Segura too.
Oh, sorry, Segura. I wanted a little bit of batting average. He helps just in a little bit of everywhere. Like, plus he's second and third eligible. I needed a second baseman so I could move Moustakas to first. I like that. I like the Segura pick. I ended up with like 4 second basemen. So thank God they've got multi-position eligibility, can move guys all around. Then, like I said, love Kalenic. Talked about Montero. And then Margot. Margot's my boy. And I'm just
I was thinking about him, but I figured whenever I started thinking about him, you already had him at the top of your queue, and that was the case.
And I mean, I looked and I go, I also want another closer. And I knew that Hammock was going to take a closer because he mentioned that he just got sniped on a closer. And so, like, okay, I was like, I had Bass and Holland right there. And I went, okay, one of these guys will probably make it back to me. If not, I can dip my toes into the Archie Bradley, Hector Neris kind of timeshare or whatever is going to happen there in Philly. So I just went, I'll take Margot and pray that one of them makes it back. Holland makes it back, take Holland. So that worked out well for me. But I just love Manny Margot. I think he's going to go 15-30 this year and just end up being just a monster. But you're not going to pay even close to that kind of price.
Yeah, and you got him, and he's going to be batting. I think 6th is what they have him slotted at, but he could get pushed up, especially if I know this was talked about in the offseason, but if they actually move on from like Kiermaier, they have Yoshi Susugo projected to lead off, which
that's not going to happen.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Not going to happen.
But they do have Margot 5th. They have Margot 5th. So even if he doesn't get pushed up to the top, he's still in a pretty prime position.
Yeah. I agree. So
that works, definitely.
We're gonna speed through these last because I got to get inside and teach Danielle the tab software. But I'll just run through your next kind of set of picks. McCutchen, McCann, James McCann, Marco Gonzalez, who you sniped me on, I was pissed about. Gavin Lux, Trevor Rogers, Drew Smiley, Candelario, David Peralta, and then we'll cover the rest after that. So talk about that kind of just set of guys.
Yeah, go ahead and scroll down on the draft board so they can follow along. So McCutchen, like I said, I knew I needed to get a guy that I could feel comfortable putting back in. He's going to lead off for a good team. Perfectly fine with him being my 5th outfielder, I believe, or first one off the bench. James McCann isn't going to hurt me in average. Catcher, my first catcher, so my catcher number 1. Perfectly comfortable with him. Marco Gonzalez is not a guy that I was super high on, but he fell probably 4 or 5 rounds too late. So I don't mind pairing him with 2 of the high K guys that I got earlier in Bieber and Flaherty, and then possibly Strasburg and Sanchez. So I didn't mind, getting a guy like Marco Gonzalez there. Gavin Lux, I touched on whenever I picked Jimenez. I was a little nervous that if Jimenez doesn't stick, maybe I can get Lux, and one of the 2 will make up that deficit in steals and in a good lineup for me. And then Trevor Rogers, Drew Smiley, Jeimer Candelario. I wanted to dip back into some Ks. I got Trevor Rogers, Drew Smiley. I think I have Drew Smiley on all my leagues so far as well. So a guy that I'm perfectly fine throwing a late dart on. I've been a sucker for Smiley for many years, and now he's on a good team. So I think that could work pretty well. And then I needed a corner infielder. I won the main with Jeimer as my corner infielder, so that's why I did it. Yeah,
you're just a Candelario stand, so not surprising you went there. With my next set of picks that we'll talk about, so from rounds 19 to 25 or 24, I went with Eliza Hernandez, who I have no shares of, Hunter Dozier, who I don't think I have very many shares of, Hector Neris, who I don't have many shares of, Sean Manaea, who I didn't have any shares of, UC Kikuchi, who didn't have many shares of, and Matt Boyd, who I didn't have many shares of. This was going after guys that I think have some upside that I haven't been highly invested in draft season, and I like them all. I mean, Hernandez is a guy that was kind of out on coming in draft season, but he's got that third pitch now. If he can use it in season, which will be the big thing, because using it in spring, using it in season are 2 different things. He could be huge. Hunter Dozier, one of the COVID guys from last year that gets downgraded in a way that like Moncada hasn't, or even Meadows hasn't, because Meadows has started to come back up. But I think he gets overlooked. He's having a huge spring as well. Also, first base, outfield eligible, going to pick up third. I have a lot of flexibility on this team, which I love. Neris might be the guy for saves in Philly. If he's not, he gets dropped pretty early.
Yep.
If he is, I've got a fourth closer. So
exactly.
Manai has looked really good in spring. I've liked him in the past. He's got good mechanics. He's throwing 94 right now. So I wanted to try to get a share. Yusi Kikuchi, this guy I've always been high on.
He's been looking good this spring too.
He's been looking good this spring again. But like the hype train has been unreal on him, and I've been getting sniped a lot, and so I wanted to get one share. Boyd, another guy with the hype train, was on last year. He's looked really good in spring. Who knows if he can carry that over, but I took the shot. So then you finish out your draft with David Peralta, your boy David Dahl, Rafael Dolis to kind of pair up with Romano, Yadier Molina, Elvis Andrus, Tommy LaStella, who got hurt today, and then Logan Allen. So talk about those picks.
Yeah, LaStella was hit by a pitch on his shin. I think he'll be okay.
Okay.
If not, he's my 29th rounder, whatever.
Yeah, it's fine.
So whenever you draft Gallo, even if that pillow is comfy, you need to add an extra fluff. And that's why I went with David Peralta in the 24th round. He's going to be my first or second outfielder off the bench, possibly a UT guy. And he's going to be leading off for the D-backs. So perfectly fine with that. David Dahl, huge fan. Love that he came to Texas. If he stays healthy, he's a top 10 round pick. Bar none. And this is the 25th round. Like I can hype him up as much as I want, but obviously he needs to stay healthy. And if he does, then he's worth the price, no matter what. Rafael Dolis locking up that Toronto bullpen, which we touched on a little bit earlier. Yadier Molina is going to get me plate appearances at my catcher 2 spot. I was considering, who was I considering? Narvaez, Jorge Alfaro. Whenever I took Jaimar, I thought I was going to get Alfaro coming back. But he was actually taken. So I had to wait a little bit longer, got Yadier. I'm perfectly fine with that. Elvis Andrus, I got him to fill in middle infielder just in case Lux or Jimenez doesn't, either has a slow start or maybe Lux doesn't even start the season. So I got him as just a guy I can plug and play. And then LaStella, I needed a corner infielder. He has dual eligibility. Got him locked up. And then Logan Allen has had a tremendous spring. He is locked in, I believe, as the 4th or 5th starter in Cleveland. And it's just a dart throw. At this point in the draft, it's your last pick. Look at matchups, look at high upside guys, and that's what I did.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. It's Molina was a guy I was considering, and then you took him. I was like, well, now I'm waiting to the last round. So Dahl, how I feel about Dahl. If he could stay healthy, I think he'd be great, but I just don't trust him to stay healthy. Andrews is a cheap speed guy. Like that's a good spot. I like LaStella. Hopefully he's healthy.
It's funny I took Andrews because I actually have a bet with Paul that Andrews doesn't steal more than 12 bases this year.
Oh, you're going to lose that bet.
He said it's over, and I said it's under. But it's funny I took him, though.
Yeah, you're going to lose that bet.
We'll see.
I can promise you that. So then I finish out my draft once I find my board. Jonathan Scope, I felt like he was just gone, or he was there for way too long. And I needed a little bit of power. I needed a second baseman, though apparently it didn't, because then I took Josh Rojas in the next round. Just an upside play. He's going to stay on my reserve list to start. We'll see how much time he's actually getting. I need an outfielder, so Josh Naylor and Tyler O'Neill until Klenek comes up are going to be my guys. I like both. I think both have really good potential. I don't know if either are going to reach it, but taking the gamble, I think Naylor's the better bet. Yuli Gurriel in the 28th round was just an insane value. And
I was considering him on the way back where I took LaStella, but then you took him. So
at the point at the point I took him, I had him as a $10 player in this format. And the second highest hitter was a $4 player. Like he was worth twice the rest of the pool. And so even though I didn't really need him, I took him. And then Yan Gomes, just a safe catcher too. He's going to play a lot and hit in a decent lineup in Washington. So, that's it. So hopefully everybody enjoyed that. Colin, where can you reach on social media? Where can people watch your stream for your main event if they're not going to watch mine? Go ahead.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at cweatherwax13. I'm on Twitch at Colin Weatherwax, all one word, no space. That's where I'll be streaming the main event draft that I'm doing tomorrow. Not in Justin's league, but at the same time as Justin. So if you want to have both tabs open, buy an extra monitor, have both of our faces on your screen, it's definitely worth it.
There you go. You can reach me on Twitter at Justin Mason FWFB. That's also my Twitch. You can catch my main event stream same time as Colin. That's 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific on Wednesday. I'll be doing it wherever you're watching it here, but Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Definitely subscribe to my YouTube and my Twitch because it helps me out. And follow me on Twitter. So whatever. Yeah. But that's it. I'm not going to plug any of my work because my wife wants me to come inside. Thank you all for watching. Thank you, Colin, for joining me for the end of this. Good luck. I'm going to whoop your ass in both leagues we're in together.
Not going to happen.